has been formally tapped to lead the agency. Ethan Viveros, One American News.
2020 Democrat hopeful Julian Castro becomes the 10th candidate to qualify for September's debate stage. The former HUD secretary received 2% support today in his fourth qualifying poll, which was conducted by CNN and the research firm SSNS. Castro already hit the 130,000 donor threshold last month, meaning that he is now eligible to take part in the third round of Democrat primary debates. Facebook is attempting to calm concerns about alleged bias against conservatives amid mounting scrutiny there. Today, the company released findings from a review conducted over the past year by former Republican Senator John Kyle. It explored concerns from conservatives about being swept up in Facebook's attempts to crack down on hate speech. The review was unable to conclude whether the tech giant unfairly targeted right-wing voices, but that has not stopped President Trump and other top Republican lawmakers from accusing Facebook of exercising political bias.
What I propose is a middle ground that says that these big tech companies can still get their special immunity, and they can still moderate content, by the way. They can still get rid of violent language. They can still get rid of stuff that incites violence, all of that, but they cannot engage in political censorship on either side, on any side.
Facebook denies allegations of bias and says that it's taking steps to improve transparency, including changes to its advertising policies that affected pro-life messaging. Nonetheless, a review into the company will remain ongoing, with additional results expected in the coming months. The U.S. Justice Department is formally preparing a joint investigation of major internet companies like Facebook. Take a look.
The DOJ is moving forward with the antitrust investigation, keeping several tech giants in the federal spotlight. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal Monday, the probe may be launched as early as September. This to ultimately determine whether firms in the Silicon Valley are engaging in anti-competitive practices.
We have seen a tremendous amount of consolidation in regard to social platforms and the tech industry over the last decade. And the result of that has become a handful of companies, and I mean a very handful, that have amassed a tremendous amount of data and power over the U.S. and world economy.
The department still hasn't disclosed which specific companies are under review. However, it has mentioned search engines, social media sites, and retail services, an apparent reference to Google, Facebook, and Amazon. Their growing dominance has concerned both Republicans and Democrats in recent months. North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein said he has participated in several bipartisan conversations about the issue.
I mean, just the fact that they could censor any type of speech is very problematic, on top of the fact that the monetization of people's personal data is enriching these companies at the expense of the consumer.
The majority of these companies deny monopolistic conduct and argue a rapidly evolving digital economy actually benefits the consumer. Google's director of economic policy says the competition has led to more choices and lower prices for online shoppers. Meantime, some officials on the case have considered reversing past mergers to protect the free market. But Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry says all actions are on the table.
President Trump says payroll tax cuts are something he's been thinking about for a while. The president made the comments in the Oval Office today after Principal Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley said the administration was not considering such a move. Gidley said the economy is doing well, so tax cut discussions are focused on boosting disposable incomes of working Americans. The Washington Post first reported the president could cut payroll taxes due to his concerns over a possible economic downturn, but both the president and his staff dismissed claims that a recession is imminent. Hogan Gidley says tax cuts are designed to give people back more of their own money. Still to come, Home Depot slashes its forecast amid falling lumber prices and the ongoing trade war with China. I have details on the warning from the home improvement giant coming up. Plus, President Trump says he's so proud of his son and daughter-in-law as the couple welcomes a baby girl to the world. More on Eric and Laura Trump's new baby next.
holding me still, deploy things when strangers try controlling me. I still manage to get lost in hip-hop. I still manage to crisscross with shit pops. I'm ill-mannered and pissed off when chicks talk it back to the corner and slip on some lip gloss. Yeah, you catch me counting all the frogs, and I know they only jump because alcohol's involved. And I say what's on my mind, you're wasting your time if you're thinking I'ma speak with a cautious jaw. I know the way I am. Sometimes I'm hard to handle, but that's alright because you're in my arms again, right where you belong. Connect the dots of my thoughts and I realize that I'm wrong. I focused hard again, with open arms again. I listen to these songs, it keeps me dreaming on. Please don't be scared to look in my eyes again. Just look in my eyes again. I'm a TV addict, that's the extent of my addiction. Unless wishers filled with ganja are considered as addictive. Although I have some friends who present their self-affliction, I never pop pills or use syringes, that's a given. And I still manage to get lost in hip-hop. I still manage to crisscross with shit pops. I'm ill-mannered and pissed off when chicks talk it back to the corner and slip on some lip gloss. Yeah, you catch me counting all the frogs, and I know they only jump because alcohol's involved. And I say what's on my mind, you're wasting your time if you're thinking I'ma speak with a cautious jaw. I know the way I am. Sometimes I'm hard to handle, but that's alright because you're in my arms again, right where you belong. Connect the dots of my thoughts and I realize that I'm wrong. I focus hard again, with open arms again. I listen to these songs, it keeps me dreaming on. Please don't be scared to look in my eyes again. Just look in my eyes again. Please don't be scared to look in my eyes again. Just look in my eyes again. You're in my arms again, right where you belong. Connect the dots of my thoughts and I realize that I'm wrong. I focused hard again, with open arms again. I listen to these songs, it keeps me dreaming on. Please don't be scared to look in my eyes again. Just look in my eyes again. You got your way, I got my case too. I should have noticed.
The show will go live in 5 minutes. 5 minutes from now.
Confined to the same conversations. Now we behave like we're running in circles.
in my mouth when I said your name. You wanted a different place to lay your head when I'm away, and I felt like a stranger. You forgot which face to hang. Your changing shapes were so persuasive, I'm beginning to feel insane. But I'm past that, and I'm back at this path I wanted to take. With that laugh, this flashbacks, we never been one and the same. It's like this old routine, you're over me, I'm cold between the shoulders. You're holding me, you cope with me, we both keep growing older. And now we're confined to the same conversation. We always had it coming, we never had a chance. The rings on your finger, the blisters in my hands. We always had it coming, we never had a chance. The rings on your finger, the blisters in my hands. We always had it coming, we always had it coming. We always had it coming, we always had it coming.
I am a Easter Bunny jet pilot from the planet Uranus. I am a Easter Bunny.
Walking corpse zombie with a shattered dream, bastard of a human being collapsing in the plastic scene, providing oxygen.
All hands on deck. 2 minutes to go.
For each other, and the cause is always mocking me. Blocked it from my vision, could not commit to my forgiveness, could not move on from my position. Locked within your prison, my mind wandered. I was looking for a bed to rest. Pop my weary knuckles while I'm stepping over severed heads. They wanted us dead, and they buried us both in separate graves with separate names. We were barely afloat. They wanted us dead, and they buried us both in separate graves with separate names. So go ahead and drown me out. Ignore me 'cause I found you hell. Go ahead and drown me out. Ignore me 'cause I found you hell.
Alrighty.
One minute to go, and counting.
Welcome to the Pete Santilli Show. When you're live on the air, please be sure to get your
muted. Please enter your Thank you.
Go ahead and drown me out. Ignore me 'cause I found you hell.
30-second left coming right up. 30 seconds to go.
I found you hell. Go ahead and drown me out. Ignore me 'cause I found you hell. Go ahead and drown me out. Ignore me 'cause I found you hell. Go ahead and drown me out. Ignore me 'cause I found you hell.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Bring it.
Where are the rights right now? They're wherever you're willing to draw a line and say, you cannot come across this line or I'll kill you. That's where your rights are. And if you don't understand that, folks, then it's beyond my capability to explain it to you. They will get away with whatever you let them get away with. And until you draw the line and you're willing to die for what you believe in, they will keep taking and taking and taking and taking until there is no more to take. It's all gone, and you're a slave.
The communist deep state, the Marxist gun grabbers, and the mainstream media are trying to take over a country that's been built by our blood, sweat, and tears over the last 243 years. It's time to keep America great by restoring what made us the greatest country on earth. the U.S. Constitution and the Second Amendment, broadcasting live in a bunker high atop Mount Washington in Cincinnati, Ohio, FEMA Region 5. I'm your host, Pete Santilli, on this Tuesday, August 20th.
Welcome to the Pete Santilli Show. The commentary and incitement you're about to hear is based on opinion, truth, and fact, and is meant to be used as an educational tool to fight the New World Order, the global elite, and the eugenics agenda. The Pete Santilli Show will never be censored by any corporation, and Mr. Santilli is certainly not beholden to the opinion of any of his sponsors. The opinions of his guests may not necessarily reflect the opinion of Mr. Santilli. Further, Mr. Santilli would like to urge his listeners to remain calm throughout the collapse, obey the Constitution, act lawfully, responsibly, and at their own risk of being brutalized by tyranny when taking any action after listening to the Pete Santilli Show. Also be advised, this program may contain adult content and parental discretion is strongly advised. It's time to throw away your chips and your Diet Cokes, so cling to your Bibles, grab your guns and your bug-out bags, and get ready for the Pete Santilli Show. Pete Santilli telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
And good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 20th, 2019. Welcome, everyone, far and wide, no matter where you're at and who you are and what you're all about, except if you're a communist. If you are a communist, Marxist, brainwashy, you need to exit at this point in time. This show is not for you. We have a right to freely assemble without your presence. We cannot try to convince you of anything because you've just been so indoctrinated and brainwashed and lied to. You need to go back to the people that lied to you, get that squared away, and then come back and join us. You're welcome to do that. But on this Tuesday, August 20th, if you guys can mute the back line, please. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Hold on. Either that or I need to turn down my headphones. Here, hold on. Oh, there we go. Yep, perfect. Thank you. It was too loud in my headphones. I apologize. But guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, each and every day at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. we broadcast, and I'm joined by my very blissful co-host, I think. I think. Am I joined by my blissful co-host? Yes, I am.
Well, you are. I just don't have the angelic muse.
Sparkly stuff.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Pete Santilli.
Say hi to everybody. Let's go. Let's get into it. We got a busy show. Talk about. Say hi to everybody.
I did.
Not first of all. Say hi to everybody. Tell everybody who our guest is today. It's gonna be a good one. Yes. Perfect timing for him to arrive. By the way,
David Riggle from the Sheepdog Defense Group, right, is going to be on the show today. He's a 16-year veteran in the police department, still a police officer, and he is training churches. His group is now training churches to defend themselves in case there is a mass shooter on the presence. So they're arming churches and training them, and it's amazing. This guy is a marksman. He's everything. Wait till you guys hear him. He's going to be a great police officer. He's a great police officer, and it's going to be a great guest. So welcome everybody to the show.
I like him wanting to end gun-free zones at churches.
Wanting to end the gun-free zones. Yeah. So this is an amazing, amazing guest, and it comes timely considering our headline, and it is true. The left is losing their minds because Trump is changing his mind.
He's done a complete 180. They're losing their brains.
I know, isn't it amazing?
I love it.
Well, you speak, he listens. So as we told everybody, we'll get into it later, but as we told everybody, never shy away from holding his feet to the fire. He's your president. He's common sense president. He's going to listen when his poll numbers start dropping, and he's going to start saying, whoa, stop whispering in my ear. I'm listening to the people. And it seems to be working. So keep it up.
Yes.
Don't relent. Stay on him, right?
Yes.
All right, you guys. So here we go, Pete Santilli.
Here we go.
Yeah, if you're ready. Are you ready?
I'm always ready. Yeah. Well, no, actually, I
ready
lie.
to go.
I'm going to play something here. By the way, if you're offended by foul language, plug your ears or hit the mute button. It's just one little F-bomb is dropped, but it's very appropriately placed by somebody named Andrew Breitbart. And I want to play this clip for you guys, and I want you to really enjoy this. Just a short clip. It's 25 seconds long, okay? And here it is, right here.
All the people that have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist, you're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs, fuck you. War.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to say this is Fargan war. We are at war. And Andrew Breitbart was bringing it then. We're going to bring it now. Knock down dead wall, knock down dead wall, knock down dead fucking wall. Right? This is fucking war. Have you guys ever seen that?
It's so funny.
Have you guys ever seen Johnny Dangerously? I'm going to play that here. Hold on a second. I didn't have that queued up, but watch. Fill in some dead air, please. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I thought you were coming right
Sorry
back.
about that.
Thought you were coming right back to the
dance.
microphone.
I'm an organ grinder monkey. Stand by.
He is an organ grinder monkey. So I love that. I love that clip by Andrew Breitbart. We're going to play that quite often. Pete is in love with it. He's been playing it for like 20 times a day, and he just sits and stares at it. And Pete reminds me a lot of Andrew Breitbart. So if you guys were around Pete 24/7, you know exactly what I mean. And those people who are on our back lines and who have the pleasure of knowing him in a different capacity as far as getting the show ready, you know that's true. He's on 24/7.
Here it is.
It's crazy.
Here it is. If you've never seen it before, here it is.
This club is too fucking small. Yeah. Franco, how big was the crowd last night? Packed. We had to turn them away. That's what I mean. We got to expand this fucking place. Knock down that wall. Knock down that wall.
Knock down
that fucking wall.
This is fucking war.
Now
Okay.
I'm really angry. This is fucking war.
Fargan war, ladies and gentlemen.
Fargan.
That's it.
It's Fargan.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is Fargan war. War. Okay? And, of course, in World War III is the info war. The person that's leading that info war has been talking about it. You got to say it. His website actually proves it. Infowars.com. Alex Jones has been talking about it. There's a war for your mind. Right now, we're right in the middle. This is like peak of the info war. And guess what? We have Alex Jones over at Infowars and all the work that he's doing. Of course, it's not Sean Hannity. You got only on the mainstream media, you got Tucker Carlson, Judge Jeanine, a little bit of Laura Ingraham. She seems to be doing a pretty good job. Actually, she's a SCOTUS clerk, right?
Right.
She's really sharp. I love her legal mind. I think she does a great job over there.
Yeah.
But leading the charge is the commander-in-chief. And information is key. And I'm going to tell you something right now, that what he did to tamp down in this information war, because you never want to let a good crisis go to waste, of course.
Never.
Right? They pounce on the mass shooting. Now, do you remember immediately, as soon as the mass shooting started happening, all the Democrats went to the podium and said, we need to take away guns from everybody.
Oh, yeah.
There's a gun shooting. We got to take away guns. And then and white supremacists, racist. They got to, basically, they have a failing 3R attack on President Trump. You want to know what they are?
Yes.
First, it
absolutely.
was Russia. Okay.
Russia.
Huh?
Russia.
Then it was racism, right?
Racism.
Right?
Racist.
And now, lately, we've got recession. But right in the middle of all that, they want to pounce on the white nationalist racism, right? In that R mode, got to take away guns because they're a bunch of gun grabbers. They all pile on. It's like they had group sex back in the 60s. Now they do these group pile on, the virtual equivalent of Fuster Cluck, just piling on, to the collective, to get everybody to join the collective. Here's our kumbaya. We're going to lock arms and do these freaking commie chants. Streets. This is what democracy looks like. Right? Is that what they do?
Yeah, it looks a lot like communism.
Yeah, so what does Trump have to do?
That's what it looks
He's got
like.
this freaking tsunami of crazy tards.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And he's got these old school politicians around him, these old neocons, right? That has stepped up and do the right thing quite a bit lately when protecting him. That's a good thing. Yeah. But as far as the gun laws go, I mean, we have people like Lindsey Graham whispering in his ears and saying, "Hey, you need to calm them down. Just give it to them. Give them the red flag. It's make it a national law. Make it national." And he's whispering in Trump's ear. And Trump, of course, is emotional, and we had to see what our president was made of, right? So he hasn't said that he's not going to sign some form of them yet either. So we got to be careful. We still have to hold him.
I don't know. Okay, well, first of all, we predicted it. We said what he does in the end is what matters. But now I'm going to go back and say, okay, he was speaking one way right in the middle of the melee, right in the middle of the mosh pit. They're whipping it up. They're like, guns. And it's terrible. He's emotionally involved, and he's like, I'm going to do a gun grab today. And then everyone's like,
what?
Okay.
Then we're not going to vote for you.
Huh? No. The leftist. He disarmed the leftist.
Right.
Totally. Because their weapon of choice is propaganda.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
False narrative, spin it.
Yes.
That's their weapon. What he did was he basically just pulled their bolt out and dumped their ammunition all over the ground. And they're just standing there, with a limp barrel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Barrel.
Peach fired up.
That's funny.
With a limp barrel.
Yeah. So
but now we have breaking news. Okay. And I'm going to say this. You speak out. This is how it works. Whether or not he actually follows all the way through, you speak out. He listens.
You've got to keep
There's no
speaking
doubt about
out.
it. You got to keep speaking out.
You have to.
And I'm going to tell you what speaking out means here in just a couple minutes. But President Trump is now turns 180 degrees on red flag laws. That's all there is to it. And the media is just going for the libtards are going freaking nuts right now. Look at Trump flip-flops here. Hold on a second. Here's the news headline. Trump warns of slippery slope on gun control just 11 days after saying, I don't agree with the slippery slope argument. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's exactly what he's been doing. Okay? Let's just
Not sure you have the right credit card.
Do not buy NerdWallet. These guys support communists.
Don't do it.
Do not buy NerdWallet. Turn to the nerd.
Find the best credit cards for you.
Turn to the nerd. What?
Well, I'm not going to get into that, but we are in very meaningful discussions with the Democrats, and I think the Republicans are very unified. We are very strong on our Second Amendment. The Democrats are not strong at all in the Second Amendment. I would say they're weak on the Second Amendment, and we have to be careful of that. The Democrats would, I think they'd give up the Second Amendment. And the people that... a lot of the people that put me where I am are strong believers in the Second Amendment, and I am also. And
Did you hear that? Who did he just speak to?
He spoke to the American people.
He said the people who put me here, right, are big believers. 63 million plus.
we have to be very careful about that. They call it the slippery slope, and all of a sudden everything gets taken away. We're not going to let that happen.
The NRA has over the years taken a very, very tough stance on everything. And I understand it. It's a slippery slope. They think you approve one thing and that leads to a lot of bad things. I don't agree with it. I think we can do meaningful, very meaningful background checks. I want to see it happen. So I've got a lot of support. And I also have the support of other people on the other side. And I think the Democrats and Republicans have a chance to really come together.
Right.
Okay.
So he says meaningful background checks, and I agree with that. I mean, they have to do this with earnest, but red flag laws, no way.
Well, hold on. Let's focus on this. We already have laws.
That's it.
You can enforce laws. There is no lack of laws to deal with. Oh my goodness, this guy's crazy. He's all over social media saying he's going to start shooting people. He's got kicked out of school because he's drawing, stabbings and pentagrams in his freaking notebook, right? The kid's freaking crazy. We need an intervention. We don't need a government to come in and put laws in place to punish 350 million people because of the crazy kid that's worshiping Satan in freaking Dayton, Ohio.
Right.
We don't need that.
And it's really distracting from what's happening even here in the state of Ohio, where DeWine is trying to pass the 17-point flag law. And you're getting ready to play that from Chris Dorr, who was on our show last week talking about just this. And we need you guys. I'm telling you, you need to stay on your states too. Don't just don't give Donald Trump the griff. Give it to your state, your governor also.
Here's Chris Dorr right here, right after he came off of our show.
But Rahm Emanuel always encouraged his students like Mike DeWine. It allows them to not let this crisis go to waste. They want to take our gun rights away from us, and this is how they're trying to do it, by peddling the blood of the innocent. But we need to get on past that. We all know that that's the end game for the gun control crowd. They want to disarm us. They want to take away our ability to defend ourselves from thugs.
Now, everybody stop. 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 Pause. Don't listen to the right and don't listen to the left. Do you trust the people like Barack Obama with all of the guns against a disarmed population? Do you? Ask yourself that. Do you trust Anagata Rashida Tlaib?
Oh, gosh.
Do you trust Ilhan Omar in a position of power with the guns, whether it be the Bureau of Land Management? It's already been done before. We've already seen it.
Yeah.
We had the Bureau of Land Management with so many guns. I mean, they were ready for war against the American people. Do you trust having Barack Obama, the Bureau of Land Management, and all of his freaking Muslim Brotherhood supporting DHS, deep state holdovers? We still have those people running around, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
We still have them running around.
You bet.
Do you trust them with the guns while we're disarmed? That's what you need to ask yourself.
And all you have to do.
And if you do, then give up your guns.
And all you got to do is really take a really good look and have your family and all your friends take a really good look at what happened at Bundy Ranch. And that is the Bureau of Land Management was armed to the teeth. I mean, they built a military complex out there and they had all the guns. But guess what? They came against the American people and were ready to kill people. They were training out in the desert to kill American protesters.
Yes.
That is a fact.
Yes.
And guess what? They didn't get charged with anything. But the American people were all hauled into jail. For 2 years, they sat in jail while the FBI and the Bureau of Land Management covered up all of their misdeeds.
Yeah.
All right. And that's what happens when they have guns and you don't, and
That's
you're
right.
not allowed to.
And by the way, I'm not anti-government.
No.
I'm saying I'm anti-tyranny. Okay? And only a tyrant would be offended by that. I am the most offensive radio talk show host on the planet to tyrants. Absolutely. They hate me. They will round me up, and they rounded up other people too. I'm going to segue here, but let's listen to what's going on over at Chris Dorr's Ohio Gun Owners. These guys are whipping it up. We're talking about tens of thousands of people are lobbying to make sure that President Trump hears, right, the will of the people. And that's how it's supposed to work. Like, you listen to it. I mean, that's how the quote-unquote democracy. This is what democracy looks like. You know what democracy looks like? Strapped up, freaking locked and loaded. That's what it looks like. It's the most peaceful thing you could ever see, right?
Right.
From criminals, from tyrannical governments, which is what the Second Amendment was really about. And to try to stop us, to try to silence us, the corporate news media, a.k.a. the fake news, and the Governor DeWine's administration and he himself have teamed up together to try to launch an attack on Ohio gun owners, on our members, on our supporters, on you people who are watching right now. Make no mistake about it. We do not, we don't fall for their bullshit, and neither should you. But when they attack Ohio gun owners as an organization, they are attacking you.
Yes.
Everybody who's watching this right now, the Joe Leedys, the Sean Powells, the Mark.
Now, understand this, and this is why I played this. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. We do need, because one of you right now that's listening to my voice is, or you feel powerless. You're like, oh my goodness, they're steamrolling us. The red flag laws are taking over. I have no say so in the matter. All I can do is just go buy more guns and ammo, and I feel good about that, I guess, to defend myself. And you're powerless. You need a coalition of individuals that are going to lobby and raise some hell. So you form these organizations that are going to come together and say, here's a website, here's the petition, sign this freaking thing. We're going to go do a rally. We're going to go raise hell, and you get, hold on a second. Wow. Jeez, Louisa.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, you guys, you got to come in muted. My ears just got blasted.
It just sounded like a tornado.
Yeah.
It sounded like a tornado. Is that?
No, that's okay. It's just my earphones are way up too high. It just blasted me. But I apologize, you guys. So anyways, we have to have, let's say, elected officials up there representing our interests.
Mm-hmm.
Like Representative Peter King. No, that ain't going to work. So what do you get? You get organizations like the NRA, and you give them membership dues to go fight for your constitutional rights. That ain't going to happen either. They want your membership dues, right? They're going to make compromises. Unfortunately, the NRA is not the organization to be representing your interests, period. Eric Pratt from Gun Owners of America is. Absolutely. He's not going to back down. He likes your membership dues because he can go raise some hell with it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Jews for the preservation of firearms, JPFO as well.
Yes.
JPFO.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Don't look to an organization. Become part of that organization and show up in numbers. And that gives President Trump political power, okay? He says, oh my goodness, I got the tsunami against us with the mainstream media, right?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do? He's doing his shucking and jiving. But ultimately, when it comes right down to it, if the people freaking revolt, he needs to be able to say confidently, I'm going to go by the expressed will of the people, right?
Right.
If you do not speak up, if you sit in the corner and wait for somebody else to do it, and you say, oh, the silent majority will never allow it to happen. There's no such thing as a silent majority anymore.
Mm-mm.
There's no such thing as the silent majority.
Or there shouldn't be.
Become part. Go look up gun owners OhioGunOwners.org. Go there. Go get on their Facebook page, and you can link up with your state. And if you don't have one, form one. Get one going. Rally together. Your elected officials only care about corporate interest, lobby interest, not your interest.
That's right.
We need to start firing these mother effers.
Yeah, because again, when it comes right down to it, all you got to look at is at Bundy Ranch, and everybody was arrested for what they said, holding their weapons against federal agents, when in fact it was the other way around.
It was the other way around.
And when it was proven that it was the other way around, and patriots and American people were just defending themselves, and when it was proven, guess what? Yeah, sure, the Bundys were let out of jail, and so were all the other guys except for 3. There's still 3 sitting in prison.
Still 3 there. They got their pound of flesh.
They were let out of jail, but guess what happened? When they know that the Bureau of Land Management, that Dan Love and the FBI and Harry Reid and all of these people planned the slaughter of American protests. They were protesters. They were planning it. How many of them have gone to jail for that? Absolutely zero. Zero. And there is something wrong with that. There is something wrong with that. Nobody has been held accountable for what they did at Bundy Ranch. Nobody.
No one. Stand by. Hold on.
Yeah, and sorry, I get really
The Francos, the Char Hoosers, the Gary Jays, the Corey Curls, the Chris Laidlaws. They are attacking you when they attack Ohio gun owners. And so we're going to talk about these attacks here for a few minutes. We're going to go through them. We're going to highlight the key players here and let you know just exactly who is behind these attacks.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's only one thing we need to do. We're lawful, we're compliant, and we're effing loud. That's all we need to do.
That's it.
Be present, be powerful, be loud, be prayerful, be lawful. Okay? Do not violate the law.
That's right.
You're not going to be threatening people. You're not going to get anything done by, letting, Representative King know that you come and take my guns. Or, you do that little internet puffery. Okay? That means nothing. You are powerless, and you're actually going to give them a freebie.
Yeah, you'll give them a freebie.
You'll give them a freebie. They're going to have your guns taken away because you were spewing rhetoric. Don't give them a freebie. So you can think whatever you want. You know what we're all thinking. Guess what we're all thinking? That we're going to win Armageddon. That it's going to come. That holy hell will rain down upon them. But you go tell them that holy hell is going to rain down upon them. They say, oh, you're crazy. We're going to take your guns. Don't give them a freebie. These are Marxist, gun-grabbing tyrants. Maoists. Mao killed tens of millions of people by doing this. That during the early stages of this. We will never give up our guns. Our guns are for tyranny killing.
Yes.
That's it.
And if America goes, everything goes. America is the last place on this earth where you are allowed to defend yourself. And so if we go the route of communism, if this country falls to communism, there is no other place. There won't be anybody to save us from somebody like Mao. And believe me, they're waiting in the wings. Mao, for the United States of America, a Mao-like brain, a Mao-like person is waiting to run this country. They cannot wait because they believe in the end, even if they have to slaughter millions, just like Mao did, just like all of them do, just like all communists do, if they have to slaughter millions of people, it's worth it in the end because they create utopia and they get rid of all the bad people. They get rid of all the bad seeds. They believe that. They really do. And they're welcoming war because they believe they're going to win. They want it. They want it. They want to get rid of us. If people have to die, then that's okay with them. It's okay.
Let's see if we can keep the momentum going, of course, with the super chats and the support for the show. Let's see if we can do that without me even, you know what, can you guys take charge of that? And let's support the show. Invest in the show as you guys do. Do that. Invest in the show. We survive. We're building this thing. We keep going. We, the people, are going to make this thing happen. It's not you giving to us. It's us coming together. All right. All right. So I'm gonna change gears here. All right. And Deb Jordan, actually, before I change gears, let me do something here. Let me play a little bit more of this because I want you to hear from what the Ohio gun owners are getting attacked from. Dwight first, and then I'm going to do a quick little search here. Stand by.
Okay.
What their goal is, what their agenda is, and we're going to let you know whether or not we're going to back down from this gun control fight or whether we're going to press on and press forward. So you'll have to stick around to the end of this video to figure out if we are going to be weeping willows and back away from this fight, or if we are going to double down and beat these people back across their political faces with a political 2x4. So pay attention, stay tuned for that. So before I do, I wanted to say hello to everybody who is checking in the comments section. I see a lot of good friends already checking in here. Make sure you click that share button so this gets seen all over the place. And Ben, if you're watching, start up a watch party. And those of you who are watching on your phone, if you would start a watch party right now, that will help this video get seen by a lot more people. And it needs to be seen because we are under attack. Gun owners in this state are under attack. So start a watch party if you can. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of what this video is all about. This video is being broadcast. Well, first of all, let me just say, the reason why you guys haven't heard from this organization in a couple of days is because way before, a couple of months ago, I set up this trip to go back home to be with my family.
I thought he was going to say, and he did say, sorry, I was a little bit late coming on. I was on the Pete Santilli show. We got a neat little plug there. That was pretty cool. We're going to be supportive of his efforts, okay? Ohio gun owners. Go to ohiogunowners.org. Get on their Facebook page. Why their Facebook page? Because look at what they're doing here. Look at this. Watch this. They have a lot of groups to get together. All right. Here's 137,000 people. Okay, railing from multiple organizations.
I've had some issues. We're trying to still deal with them.
We're talking about the MinnesotaGunRights.org, IowaGunOwners.org, Georgia Gun Owners. See this? Isn't this beautiful?
Yes.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
Get the heck over there, and if you don't have one, go get one. Form one. Form an organization. Rally the people together. We steak and potatoes people are going to do this. We're law-abiding citizens. We could, okay? I'm talking about the people that can pass their background check. They can get properly trained. They can afford to buy the guns. They're sane, stable, law-abiding citizens. That's who I'm asking to come together. You freaking wingnut FBI informants that are on heroin getting paid to go in and provocateur, stay away, because we're going to catch you. And we have caught you, okay? We're going to self-police. You're going to be gone. We don't need a background check. We don't need a freaking red flag law for us to say, you're a freaking wingnut. You're out of here. Get away from me. Right? Mm-hmm. You're crazy threatening people. That's not who I'm talking about rallying. Talking about law-abiding citizens. Now. Oh, no. Are you kidding me? I missed it. How did I miss that?
Here we go. Just go right into it.
We're going to go right into it. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Many people have been raving about the benefits of nootropics, and my regular listeners know that I'm a big fan of cognitive enhancement supplements. Recently, I tried Gorilla Mind Rush, and I'm here to tell you that it's the best daily supplement I'm taking right now to help keep me focused and at the highest level of concentration I need to keep up with the flow of news and information we deliver to you daily. Gorilla Mind products not only supplement my regular daily nutrition. When you buy Gorilla Mind Rush, Gorilla Mind Smooth, Gorilla Dream, or Gorilla Youth Serum anti-aging products, you help support our operation. We're an authorized affiliate, and when you buy Gorilla Mind products by visiting PeteLive.tv/gorilla, you're literally making an investment in our show. Invest in your well-being. Invest in our show. It's a winning partnership between our listeners of the Pete Santilli Show, the best cognitive health and anti-aging products on the market today. Just visit PeteLive.tv/gorilla to learn more. That's PeteLive.tv/gorilla.
From sweet and spicy to fiery, bold, and full of flavor, Brother Doc's is not your typical beef jerky. Never dry and brittle. This jerky comes beautifully packaged, with large cuts of meat that are moist, tender, and chewy from beginning to end. Brother Doc's recipes contain the highest quality ingredients that result in innovative flavor masterpieces, like orange teriyaki, barbecue mesquite, and their signature bold pepper flavors properly named Volcano and Burnout. Moderate pricing and great flavor will have you in beef jerky heaven. Go to sbn.buzz/brotherdocs to place your order so Doc knows you heard about him here on the Pete Santilli Show. It's true what they say about Brother Doc's beef jerky. One bite and you'll be a believer too.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you install computer antivirus software, or you put a smoke detector in your home, or you sign a marriage prenuptial agreement? You're preparing. You're preparing for the worst, actually. You're preparing to be attacked and hacked, or for a fire in your home, or for a marriage breaking up. Whatever it is, you're preparing for the worst. That all actually makes sense. Same goes for building a food storage plant. You're preparing for when natural disasters strike and shelves go empty at the grocery store. Or you can't get there because you're cut off from everything, like what's happening in some places in the Midwest, where flooding has made islands out of farms and subdivisions. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. I trust and use them, and you should too. A 2-week food storage kit gets you started. They're available now for a special price of only $75 when you go to my special website, preparewithpete.com. These kits from My Patriot Supply including breakfast, lunch, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. Order now so you're prepared. Preparewithpete.com. That's preparewithpete.com. And we're back without any fanfare. But to my final point here, get law-abiding citizens, okay? That's who I'm being protective of. The logic is We don't disarm 350 million people because of one crackhead, pentagram drawing, meth head, freaking cocaine-induced guy on psychotropic drugs that wasn't raised properly by his parents. We don't disarm 350 million people.
Yep,
That's called awful logic. That comes out of the mouth of fat-footed Barney Rubble, freaking Rashida and Agata Taliba. Okay.
Yes.
And Ilhan Omar.
I love what you said earlier, and people need to have that sink in.
Oh, you're gonna take my
What
thunder.
are you gonna do if Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar, God forbid, should ever become the president of the United States of America?
Yeah.
And all of these laws are in place.
I said,
think about that.
And also our president recognizes, and I sent this tweet out. It's on e-militia.com in today's episode with this particular episode. Real Donald Trump recognizes that the worst time to talk about gun grabbing is when the communists are trying to take over. Okay?
Right.
He recognizes that.
And Islam.
And we're not going to let him do that. Law-abiding citizens will push back and say, no, we have communists on our front doorstep. We have tyranny about to come upon us. Our founding father says, when tyranny comes, you get your guns. Okay? And guess what? Then tyranny backs up. That's it. It's over. It's a peaceful resolution, correct?
Correct.
When tyranny comes with guns and you're not armed, that's what Mao did. And tens of millions of people died. Right?
Absolutely.
So, my recommendation.
That is fact. You can't rewrite history, even though they're trying.
Yes.
You can't.
Yes. All right. I'm going to share a story with you guys. Oh, I just switched over. We got so much stuff, breaking news like crazy, but I have to mention the story right here. This one right here. We're talking about Bundy Ranch. Okay. We're talking about tyranny. You guys may or may not even know about this. I'm going to actually pull your, let me know if super chats come through. I'll put them back up on the screen, give you guys recognition. Look at this. April 12th was the Barack Obama administration and Sally Jewell. I call Sally Jewell, actually, that's the name of the new dipping sauce for sage grouse nuggets. Okay, because the environmentalists want to save the sage grouse and get all the ranchers off the land and basically block out 300 million acres of land. It's called land grab. And they want to save the sage grouse. I say, I want to eat sage grouse. I want to have deep fried sage grouse and use Sally Jewell dipping sauce. Sally Jewell was the Department of Interior secretary. Tastes exactly like chicken. Tastes exactly like chicken. But right after the Bundy Ranch protests, and the protest on April 12, 2014, this is a fact. They were pointing guns at a bunch of people, and there was a protest on the 12th where Clive and Bundy said, we're going to call the sheriff to come in and enforce the law and protect life, liberty, and property. That's what the protest was about. If anybody tells you, if I hear somebody call it a standoff, okay, that's called the mainstream media narrative. You've literally been brainwashed to say standoff. No, it was a protest. And it was a protest of, and by the way, guess what? All of law enforcement did an analysis. They did their little spying intel stuff to determine whether or not Clive and Bundy and his family were a risk to society. And they wrote, they're not. They're not right? They're not high risk or anything like that. But it would be better if we allowed Clive and Bundy just raise a bunch of hell and lure in a whole bunch of gun people. That way we can round them up and throw them in jail. And that's what they did. It was an entrapment. They instigated, poked, prodded. They started sending pictures in January of 2014. Pictures of MRAPs pretending to be on the side of the Bundy stand. Look at, see?
Actually, January 21st.
January 21st, we actually have the text messages
of 2014
of the undercover, okay? And I'm not allowed to show it all to you. Why? No, actually, I can show that to you because that's publicly available, but I'm not going to show it to you just in case they have to go back to trial again. And then we're going to beat him in the freaking balls.
Right.
I dare you to bring it back to trial. Dare you. Bring it back to trial. That's when I'll go in and I'll go ride shotgun, by the way, with all the attorneys, right? As they were asking me to do. with the laptop with the Discovery. We will literally just freaking bring. And by the way, that'd be going up against the Trump administration, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, that would be, That'd be terrible for President Trump. He'd get a loss. He would lose a major trial. But anyways, I digress. It's the truth. On April 12th, the sheriff was called to the podium to protect life, liberty, and property, right? This was an absolute disaster. Was Barack Obama pressing the BLM? They had snipers pointed at a bunch of unarmed Americans. Then Bureau of Land Management had so many freaking guns there. I mean, it was just so horrifying. Oh, it was horrifying. I'm not allowed to show it to you because some La Raza leftist freaking judge says, oh, we got to protect the rights of the BLM agents, half of whom, by the way, are all whistleblowers saying that you guys were out of control and they almost died at the hands of Sally Jewel freaking dipping sauce and Salvador Lauro, the freaking, what? This is true, by the way. Salvador Lauro. Come on. This is what happened. Let me get to it. Stephen Stockman, the 36th district in Texas, congressman, on April 15th, wrote a letter to the president, to Sally Jewel. This is why I mentioned Sally Jewel, because everyone's like, why are you talking about Sally Jewel? Because Sally Jewel was the honorable, actually, she was one of the least honorable leftists, but she was pressing the issue. He wrote it to Sally Jewel, the president, the honorable Neil Cornsey. Okay, guess who Neil Cornsey is? Is Harry Reid's hack, right? And said, Dear Mr. President, Secretary Jewel and Director Cornsey, as the federal government possesses only limited enumerated powers and does not have right to assume peremptory police powers, that role being reserved to the states, right? Because here, let me back up. Although the BLM announced last weekend that it was standing down in its ongoing dispute with the Bundy family in Nevada, many sources are reporting that BLM is ramping up its presence in the area. Because of this standoff, I have looked into BLM's authority to conduct such paramilitary raids against American citizens, and it appears that the BLM is acting in lawless manner in Nevada. They do not have the right to assume peremptory police powers. This is from a congressman, by the way. Okay, that role being reserved to the states. Many federal laws require the federal government to seek assistance from local law enforcement whenever the use of force may become necessary. Here it is. You ready? This right here brought not only the entire government down to its knees, but when I brought this letter to our attorneys who had no clue what the frig I was talking about, 43 USC section 1733 defines the law enforcement authority over BLM lands vested in Congress. Section C of that statute provides as follows: that when the secretary determines that assistance is needed in enforcing the laws and regulations related to public lands or resources, he shall offer a contract to local officials having law enforcement authority. The sheriff. Ladies and gentlemen, they didn't have a contract. Not only did they not have a contract, Sheriff Gillespie said, we recommend you don't do this. And if you do, you're on your own. I'm not going to assist you. That's how I know that they didn't have a contract, because the sheriff refused to help the Bureau of Land Management with their military compound they set up. So here I am in Scrubs, right? I'm actually just begging for copies because I didn't have access to the internet. I knew about this letter, right? Congressman Steve Stockman literally brought the whole freaking case to its knees. I contacted my attorney, and all the attorneys said, oh, you sovereign citizens think that you got the law. And I said, no, this is the freaking federal code. They didn't have a contract. They violated the law that the sheriff refused to help them. The freaking FBI pulled out of the stupid thing, right? And the BLM is pointing guns at the American people without the proper authority to do so. They didn't even have arresting powers, let alone pointing gun powers. Well, guess what happened, and why I'm bringing this up is because of the following. Hold on a second. Oh, where's my Daily Caller article? What the frig? Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me. I had everything so set up. It was unbelievable.
You had everything set up.
I had everything set up, and I do have it set up. Stand by.
It is.
You ready?
Yes, we're ready.
It was on the Daily Caller. All right. Congressman Steve Stockman is now in jail for 10 years.
Yep.
And his wife, Patty Stockman, writes as follows. Can the case of my husband, Steve Stockman, be an alarm for Americans who love the Constitution? A former two-time congressman endured a 4-year investigation with 4 grand juries, followed by an indictment and conviction by our own Department of Justice and Internal Revenue Service. He's now serving a 10-year prison sentence. This guy was so railroaded, it'll make your head spin, okay? I know why he was railroaded. There's a probably 137% chance where you're going to see what other issues he used to cover and stand up for. But that one letter, the Steve Stockman letter, in my case, okay, is what brought holy hell upon him. From Lois Lerner to Barack Obama, the deep state, doing surveillance, digging up stuff, reversing engineering an indictment, and putting him in the freaking hoot scow. Not only that, they railroaded him in front of the jury. They did the same thing to him that they did to the 3 people that are in there, right? Essentially, they tried to these prosecutors, deep state prosecutors, were found to have committed prosecutorial misconduct. Those same types of people have now taken Steve Stockman, who challenged the deep state, and almost brought the entire case to its knees on 43 USC 1733. And they went after him and put him in jail. We're going to bring Patty Stockman on the show. We're going to cover this, but this guy, here's what she writes. Our reader asked, after reading Hagelin's article, why isn't this known in the conservative community? There are several plausible answers to that question, but they are really more excuses than reasons. These include the fact that my husband was told along the way that he should not talk about the case. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what they do. They silence you. They're doing it to Roger Stone. They don't want him because they know that he'll kick the crap out of them. They want exclusive rights to propagandizing by using what they call the docket, and that is the filing of all their legal paperwork. And they use that like a blog. It's a leftist blog. Mm-hmm. And it's a legal way to use that leftist blog to have the media pick it up and write a certain narrative. And everybody was scared. They were afraid of this guy. They're like, oh my goodness, he's just a firebrand. Like Pete Santilli. Pete Santilli was wearing camouflage. He must have done something wrong, right? That's why the pussies like Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes ran in a freaking bunker and wouldn't even come out and testify to everything that he knew because he was too busy collecting membership dues versus following through and defending the Constitution. That's the truth. By the way, if Stuart Rhodes ever wants to sue me for defamation, I dare you, okay? If that's the only way I can get you to the stand and you can admit that you were handing out ammunition and freaking body armor at Bundy Ranch and escaped freaking indictment, okay? Right? I'd love for you to sue me for defamation. Stuart Rhodes is a freaking rat bastard, by the way, because he pulled a plug. This is why I'm coming out against him again. Once again, Portland. He pulled all of his people out and called a stand-down order. He did it at Malheur. He came running out to Bundy Ranch, put his signs up after everything happened, right? Mm. He pulled everybody off the X when he heard about a drone strike. This guy is not worthy of your membership dues. Just be an oath keeper. Just do it without his freaking help because he's like the NRA. He wants your $30 a month. And when it comes down to it, the Constitution gets thrown under the bus. The people, and I'm not just bashing Stuart Rhodes, okay? Where's Stuart Rhodes on this issue? He knows about Steve Stockman. Stuart Rhodes knows about Steve Stockman. Everybody knows about Steve Stockman. Everyone was running around with 43 USC 1733, saying the BLM didn't have arresting powers at Bundy Ranch. And they're running around saying, we're law enforcement. You know, they got their badges and their guns, and they want to go arrest people. You know what happened? The sheriff walked up and said, you don't need those guns. Get the hell out of here. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. It's in the discovery. The sheriff showed up and said, you don't need those guns. Put those away. And this is before not one protester showed up.
Yeah.
These guys are all a bunch of freaking Maxine Waters freaking hopped up freaking Marxists, Maoists with freaking guns. That's what they were. And the sheriff said, get the hell, push back. I'm in charge. Command post is up here. Sheriff Tom Roberts and the rat bastard Lombardo, who, by the way, got on the stand and lied about all that.
You bet he did.
He sure did. He lied about all that, committed perjury on the stand. And Lombardo, if you're listening, or any of you freaking deep staters are listening out there, I just want you to thank your lucky stars that the case was dismissed, okay? Because that saved Lombardo. We were going to freaking slam him. I have the file if you want to see it, for perjury, okay? We were going to nail him. We're so pissed off that the case was dismissed. Right? Isn't that true? How upset was everybody? Most people would be celebrating. And if you think I'm freaking joking about this, about going after the deep state, I'm not. We're not stopping. I got Matthew Schindler coming on the show. What date is he scheduled, Ashley? Matthew Schindler, an attorney that now he's going to come on. He's definitely coming on next week. Okay? This is a guy that was out there in Oregon on Twitter trolling against all the because he was listening to the mainstream media, and he was trolling, calling us a bunch of white nationalist racists with guns. He went from that to learning the truth, defending us, and wearing a pocket constitution, and beating the crap out of the freaking government, and winning a case, an acquittal. That's Matthew Schindler. Mm-hmm. And now he professionally defends the Constitution in the courtroom. Life-changing experience. He said it was the pinnacle of his life. That guy knows about Stockman. Okay, he knows about what Stockman was talking about. And here, this website right here, Defend a Patriot, okay? Defendapatriot.com. I'm not going to back off on promoting this guy. I spent all of this time and will spend and dedicate a tremendous amount of it. If I have to do a freaking marathon, okay, to not abandon this guy. When did I find out about this? Today.
Yes,
I found out about it.
This morning.
I am so outraged that you pussified freaking conservative, fake freaking Republicans. I'm so pissed off at you. You did it to me in independent media, too. People in independent media ran like a bunch of pussies because they were afraid of the deep state. Do me a favor. Those people need to have their guns taken away. Because can you imagine when the poop hits the fan? I don't want them spraying bullets everywhere. You're going to waste your ammunition, panicking. Right? Mm. We need to disarm pussy freaking independent media and freaking conservative fake ones. We need to disarm them. Because when it comes right down to it and the shooting starts and Lavoie dies, they run. You know what I mean? All they had to do was just be present. What were they doing? They're running the opposite direction. It's too cold. I got a stand down order from Stuart Rhodes. All you had to do was just be present. They wouldn't have shot people. That's all you had to do was just be there in Burns, Oregon. Just stand there like a freaking road cone. Correct? Mm. Now, there were some bad people that were mingling in there. I recognize that, but they just worked for the FBI. But that's okay. Those people are under investigation.
Most
right?
of them did.
Hey, well, anyway, it's a jury. That's what a jury said.
That's what a jury said.
That's the FBI in Portland. All right? Defendapatriot.com. We're going to segue here and make sure that I'm not going to miss the break. And then we're going to go to, we're not going to stop our Second Amendment issue. We're going to go to a great guest in the next segment. And we're going to actually talk to somebody who's making sure that churches are no longer gun-free zones. And I love that. But Steve Stockman, let's go to charges against Stockman. Why would this happen? Processes and players, all right? The deep state in our government uses the same three-step strategy pioneered by militant Saul Alinsky in his books, Rules for Radicals. This is written on her page here. Mm-hmm. To silence political oppositions. The steps are identify, isolate, destroy, and it has been used to attack conservative activists. And you know who one of those conservative activists is? Got all the way to the halls of Congress. And he started exposing some of the biggest stories of our age. The Obama Justice Department conspired with the FEC, the FBI, and the IRS to weaponize federal agencies against conservatives. This man couldn't even mention Lois Lerner's name at trial to the jury. He was prohibited from doing that.
Yep.
To talk about how he had been persecuted, he had been sought after, he had been surveilled. They reverse engineered an indictment. They went ahead and used the NSA database through their contractors to dig up all kinds of stuff they could use against him. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons was because of that letter that he wrote against the Department of Interior and the Obama administration, the ones that wanted all of the guns pointed at the unarmed people at Bundy Ranch, okay? And you dare do that? Not only do we need to prevent them from having the guns, we need to make sure that we prevent them from having the FEC, we need to prevent them from having the FBI, we need to prevent them from having the IRS, we need to prevent them from having the CIA, we need to prevent them from having a seat in Congress. We need to get rid of them forever.
You're listening to the Pete Santilli Show. Pete Santilli telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
Many people have been raving about the benefits of nootropics, and my regular listeners know that I'm a big fan of cognitive enhancement supplements. Recently, I tried Gorilla Mind Rush, and I'm here to tell you that it's the best daily supplement I'm taking right now to help keep me focused and at the highest level of concentration I need to keep up with the flow of news and information we deliver to you daily. Gorilla Mind products not only supplement my regular daily nutrition. When you buy Gorilla Mind Rush, Gorilla Mind Smooth, Gorilla Dream, or Gorilla Youth Serum anti-aging products, you help support our operation. We're an authorized affiliate, and when you buy Gorilla Mind products by visiting PeteLive.tv/gorilla, you're literally making an investment in our show. Invest in your well-being. Invest in our show. It's a winning partnership between our listeners of the Pete Santilli Show, the best cognitive health and anti-aging products on the market today. Just visit PeteLive.tv/gorilla to learn more. That's PeteLive.tv/gorilla.
From sweet and spicy to fiery, bold, and full of flavor, Brother Doc's is not your typical beef jerky. Never dry and brittle. This jerky comes beautifully packaged with large cuts of meat that are moist, tender, and chewy from beginning to end. Brother Doc's recipes contain the highest quality ingredients that result in innovative flavor masterpieces, like orange teriyaki, barbecue mesquite, and their signature bold pepper flavors properly named Volcano and Burnout. Moderate pricing and great flavor will have you in beef jerky heaven. Go to sbn.buzz/brotherdocs to place your order so Doc knows you heard about him here on the Pete Santilli Show. It's true what they say about Brother Doc's beef jerky. One bite and you'll be a believer too.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you install computer antivirus software, or you put a smoke detector in your home, or you sign a marriage prenuptial agreement? You're preparing. You're preparing for the worst, actually. You're preparing to be attacked and hacked, or for a fire in your home, or for a marriage breaking up. Whatever it is, you're preparing for the worst. That all actually makes sense. Same goes for building a food storage plant. You're preparing for when natural disasters strike and shelves go empty at the grocery store. Or you can't get there because you're cut off from everything. Like what's happening in some places in the Midwest, where flooding has made islands out of farms and subdivisions. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. I trust and use them, and you should too. A 2-week food storage kit gets you started. They're available now for a special price of only $75 when you go to my special website, preparewithpete.com. These kits from My Patriot Supply, including breakfast, lunch, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. Order now so you're prepared. Preparewithpete.com. That's preparewithpete.com. Many people have been raving about the benefits of nootropics, and my regular listeners know that I'm a big fan of cognitive enhancement supplements. You guys gave me both of his addresses, I guess, and I connected to one, and we'll be right with you, folks. Stay right there. We're going to connect them. So we will kick off the hour here momentarily. Oh, my God. He had 2 accounts here. There we go. Here we go. right, there we go, sir.
Okay, you see me?
All right. How are you? And it's pronounced Wriggle, right, Mr. Wriggle?
Yeah, Wriggle rhymes with wiggle.
Wriggle and wiggle. There we go. We're going to wiggle our way right into this. Sorry about, I was actually trying to reach you on your other Skype line. I guess I had 2 Skype names, but if you can turn your, can you turn your video on?
Video is not on.
Can you, we're going to, there we go. Now it's on.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, you're all smiley. You need to turn that back off.
I'll take care of that. I also have my caffeine.
Oh, fantastic. All right, just settle in here. Let me just make sure we get you framed up right. And it's okay that we have a delay because I'm going to make a separate segment. So
okay.
We're broadcasting live right now on the audio side. Now, I'm just getting ourselves set up here for the video side. Stand by.
Okay.
All right, sir. You look great. And the site, just to confirm, sheepdogdefensegroup.com.
That's correct.
Okay. And that's what will be on the screen directly under. You're not going to be able to see the graphics just because Skype won't let me do that. So.
Okay, but you're wearing pants.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Stand by. Yes. All right, you guys, here we go.
The following program may not be suitable for millennials under the age of 40. Parental discretion is strongly advised.
And now, the most offensive radio talk show host on the planet, Pete Santilli.
Only to tyrants, of course. And I always look for that initial horrified reaction that when a guest comes on for the first time, they hear that and they're like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? But I'm only offensive to those tyrants, those Marxists, those gun-grabbing communists, of course. But ladies and gentlemen, I apologize on the live side for those that had to stand by because we had to get my next guest queued up, and you're going to love him, especially in light of what we've been talking about. The ideas that we have for logical ideas for solving some of the problems we have, because we all want to stop mass shootings. We all want to stop people dying in, whether it be a synagogue or a mall or a school. We certainly do. But we, the people, logical people, sensible people, understand that it's not appropriate to disarm 350 million people to stop one crazed individual running into a gun-free zone. And my next guest, he's coming on for the first time. We actually got in touch with him. He's actually with sheepdogdefensegroup.com. David,
how you doing?
Wriggle, I'm going to put you on the screen here momentarily, but let me just properly introduce you here. David has been a police officer for over 16 years and has spent half of his time on a tactical team. He's trained new officers both in the field and at the training academy. He's had extensive training in response to active events such as active shooters, anti-terrorism training. He's had special training in shooting, hand-to-hand combat, attended multiple tactical schools. He's been involved in dynamic entries, barricaded persons, hostage rescue, as well as fugitive manhunts and warrants. He's an instructor. He's a firearms instructor, range safety officer, one of the most qualified people holding a certificate currently in SWAT, advanced SWAT, dynamic entry. And he is, and I love this idea because, as I said, the most logical thing that we can do, come up with some sensible ideas to end, one of those ideas is to end gun-free zones. And I welcome you to the show, David. Thank you. Now you're on the screen. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Fantastic. Thanks a lot. Sorry for the little mix up there, but that's perfectly fine because we're actually going to produce a little segment. But sir, tell us, in all this madness, tell us what your ideas are. And I mentioned, and I've been talking about this. I'm a United States Marine, always been a law-abiding citizen. I believe that sane, stable firearm ownership and usage. I'm actually recommending that even mothers and grandmothers of America consider getting a concealed carry, get trained on how to use a firearm. Law-abiding citizens should do that. We're talking about lawful, constitutional, and well-trained. And that is the best deterrent to some crazy guy walking into a Walmart to try to kill people, right?
Right. We we see that we deal with about 95% of our times with 5% of society. So my belief is that if even a small fraction of the remaining 95% are armed, well-trained, and able to help, this is a war that we easily win. What we see is denial, and denial gets you killed. We like to empower people. As an officer, I love my job. I love what I do. But we see oftentimes we're running code, lights, and sirens with crime scene tape just to pick up the crime scene because the event is over before we get there. So what we like to do is try to empower people to protect themselves. It's hard for us to get into a scene. If you're already in the scene and you know what to do and you can respond, not just with a firearm, but also with medical training, that's how we win this fight. That's what we believe.
Yeah, and applied logic, for instance, would be that, of course, you got a lot of people out there, and they always want to use those examples where, somebody out in the hills of Kentucky has a musket, and, they're raged into it. And they always want to use that extreme example of what is not representative of America. Because there's a lot of, former military, law enforcement, just regular, good down-home law-abiding citizens that want to defend their homes and their life, liberty, and property. Those people should be well-trained, even by, let's say, former military or former law enforcement, somebody like yourself. That's a logical step, is to get those people that have guns right now and to get them even better trained as to how to be the best first responder, right?
Yeah. Training is the key issue, because what happens is people will go out and buy a firearm and they'll put it under their bed and they leave it there, and it's a false insurance policy. Mm-hmm. A gun doesn't do you any good any more than a hammer would if you don't know how to use it. Mm-hmm. And that's where we see a lot of the negative press, I believe, is people that don't know what they're doing with a handgun, a long gun, whatever kind of gun they have, creating bad press and lending weight to the other side of things. Whereas we're not seeing a whole lot of the press comes out about a firefighter the other day that stopped a mass shooting. Mm-hmm. Those are things that you have to search for. They're not thrust into the limelight. My degree plan is in media, so I understand both sides of the press, and I understand why they do what they do. But it's not a fair representation of what's actually happening in this country. There are plenty of good people out there who are properly trained and they're completely legal and licensed, that are helping law enforcement, helping the society, helping their communities by just getting involved in doing what they should be doing. So.
Yes. Now, sir, in your career, I'm sure, and by the way, my long-winded format of asking the question was to kind of give you some insight as to, our culture here on the show, and what we recommend to our listeners. We're not about having some crazy guy having a gun. We're talking about sane, safe, law enforcement. I'm former military. I fired more weapons and ammunition. I'm talking about that lawful constitutional effort here. But sir, now I want to ask you, you've had some insight as to the psychology of the criminal or the shooter. You have to have had some study in that regard. Yeah. And the reason why I ask that is, speak to this. If you could, as there's this crazed person is thinking about becoming a mass shooter and going out and targeting and maximizing as a terrorist, he's going to go through a list in his head of where he could achieve that. Is it not true that he goes through a list of places that are pretty much gun-free zones?
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what we do. We harden targets. I don't know about other states, but I know statistics about Texas. And in Texas, school shootings, we don't have school shootings in Texas at armed locations. We've had 0 incidents of an armed intruder walking into school in Texas with known responders that are armed. Everybody goes back to Columbine and some of these others. Yes, there are exceptions to that. But criminals, they look for the soft, easy targets. And when you harden up a target by arming people and making it known that you have armed people, it deters them and it makes them move on to another target. A sociopath is going to be a sociopath. They're going to find a firearm. You're never going to get rid of firearms. You're quicker going to get rid of the flu than you are to get rid of firearms. So that's not even a possibility. So to take the firearms away from those and the training and the skills away from those that are the only thing that can stop that violence is just the wrong move. We don't just teach security, we teach civilians. I teach license to carry classes. I'm teaching one this weekend. I believe in arming those who want to be armed. If you have the propensity for violence, that you can be violent righteously, and you should have the means. You should have the means to protect yourself, protect loved ones. that's where we stand.
All right, now law enforcement, and I'm going to come up with a hypothetical here that you can speak to, and then you know where I'm going to go with this, because ultimately, when you show up, code 3, right? Lights and sirens to a scene, active shooter. You get a bunch of law enforcement guys, badges and guns. They're easily identifiable. You know that those guys with the guns, they're well trained. There's a protocol. You feel comfortable with those individuals that are highly trained. They know what to do. Their training will start kicking in. Right. So now let's take this. Let's say, for instance, you have a high school, just one, Shaker High School in Latham, New York, and you just conducted training, and all of the teachers have sidearm training. You've been working with them for 6 months, and in advance, the local police department knows when they show up on campus that all of those teachers know exactly how things are going to go because you've trained for it very well. You're going to have, in law enforcement, a certain level of comfort when you show up on the scene, aren't you?
Absolutely, and we cross-train. With what I do with my organization, we invite local law enforcement to train with us, and a lot of times they do. There's another city that we work in. The chief of police attended our training and said, "I completely support this program." It established a relationship where the police know the building, they've been in the building, they know the people, they know them by sight. So it takes away that element of not knowing what you're walking into. We highly encourage any location to get involved with the local police department, but especially if you have armed responders on scene, to have that relationship and to see that they're walking into an area where there are friendly people that are going to help them.
Yes.
In an active situation, if we roll upon an active shooter situation or an active killing situation, the protocol has changed since Columbine. It used to be that we surround and wait.
Yeah.
Well, all the kids died in there because that's what they did, what they were supposed to do, but that protocol changed. Now, if you get there and you're having to change boots and you've got one boot on and shooting starts, you have to go inside with one boot and by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So there are times when civilians might be very beneficial because of their training to assist law enforcement in responding to these types of situations.
Now, sir, also, the first responders, I mean, not to take away from, because we are highly respectful of all of law enforcement that has to show up on these messes. I mean, it's just awful that the world has become that way. But of course, the true first responders are the people with eyes and ears on the scene within the milliseconds when the shooter is it correct? They are the first
responder is a buzz term, and it's. I mean, there's first responder. Everybody thinks of first responders being ambulance, police, and fire.
Mm-hmm.
First responder is the first one to take action.
Yes,
and that's what we. First responder doesn't have to do it as a living. It can be somebody who is just ready to respond.
Yes,
and that's the problem is we are very per capita. There's not enough officers to be everywhere at the same time, but there are enough people out there with a desire to protect each other where we can have somebody everywhere. I think there should be somebody armed at every school bus. I feel like school buses are a very weak area right now where I think we might have potential orchestral style attacks.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stop that? You make it known that if you get on a school bus or you go into a daycare, places like that have been soft targets,
mm-hmm.
you make it known that they're not soft targets anymore. Those are hard targets where people are going to respond with accurate gunfire if you come in and do something wrong. That's how you're going to stop this.
Yes, sir. Now the next logical thing, rather than triggering the left and say we're going to end all gun-free zones, is to phrase it in this manner. Based on what we just talked about, is the best thing to do is to get those true first responders, which is the American citizenry, to not be a victim, of course, and to be well prepared for how to deal with it. We've done, civil defense training. We've trained, the duck and cover thing. Remember back in the day, you and I are probably of the same age. I'm actually hiding my age right now because you can't see me, but we're of that same age. You remember the nuclear disaster drills we used to do when we were in elementary school?
You got me beat, but I know what they are.
Yeah, we used to do that. In fourth grade, I remember. It's a pretty scary thing. But we trained for that stuff. Why not? Right now, we're lacking the training of the true first responders, and those first responders need to become first responders versus victims, correct?
Right. It's taboo to talk about. We do in schools, we do fire drills once a month. Legally, we do fire drills once a month.
Mm-hmm.
There are fire extinguishers, fire exits that would still be on if there was the apocalypse. But when was the last time that a child was lost in a fire in a school? 1958 Chicago. So we're winning that war against fire. So why are we not winning the war against violence? Because violence is a human action, and we don't like that. We don't like that a human being would inflict harm on another human being.
Yes.
So people don't think that they will, and they just pretend it's not going to happen to them. But the fact is, it's happening more and more frequently. So the only answer is supposed to start doing those drills. We do, in the places that I work in, we do active terror drills. We do drills where they'll lock down, and we bring role players in. And the only way to really win this is to make it not so scary, especially for kids. If you pull the fire alarm, the kids are like, oh, it's a fire drill. I get to skip, my math test today, and they're excited about it. But if you do terror drills, they're going to be crying and hyperventilating on the floor unless they've been exposed to it previously. So if you don't inoculate yourself against that stress before it's a real event, that's where we're failing. We're pretending that it's not a problem, and we're just bypassing it. It doesn't become a line item in our budget because we just don't feel like it could happen to us. But it's happening over and over and over again.
We got a lot of patriot groups out there, and you get a lot of patriots. You see the pictures, civilians, they get all kitted up and they got their ARs and they're all strapped up. It's, because we've been at war for so long, that's a trendy thing to do. And I've been to rallies. Now, as a United States Marine, I was an aerial gunner. I've fired 20 millimeter cannons out the side of an AC-1. I've been around it all. Right. So when I showed up at these patriot rallies, which I'm very supportive of the Second Amendment, I also recognize that even some of these patriot groups need some training. I've been around individuals, they were civilians, no prior law enforcement or military experience, and they'll hit the sauce at the local hotel room where the rally's going on, and they're running around with guns. And I'm like, what are you doing? So that level of training, those same people are great Americans that need to interface with law enforcement and say, how can I help in our local community? First thing is you don't drink and carry a firearm. You're not going to do that, right? You're going to clean up your act a little bit, and let's get through some training. Let's do a background check. Make sure that you're not some, felon with a firearm, for instance. We need patriot groups to be well-trained and assist law enforcement in those incidents where you got a mass casualty incident, correct? Do you agree with that?
Right. And we do have plenty of groups out there that are well-versed and well-trained, but
yes.
Back in the open carry times when that was becoming a big deal and it was in the press a lot, in my city, we did meet with them. And the ones that I met with, I said, I absolutely support your cause. Your delivery method is hurting your cause.
Yes.
If you would do this in a more responsible way and not look like you're just psychotic with what you're doing, your message would be better received. Because I know what they're going after, I do support what they do, but I agree with you. The method that they carried was not the best method to get their message out.
Right. And you know what? That's basically just handing the leftists an opportunity to demonize us Americans.
Exactly right.
Right. So,
and there are terms that are used that the press pass around. Active shooter. I don't use the term active shooter. I'm an active shooter. I go to the gun range. If active shooter was a bad thing, we'd have a whole lot of criminals around duck season. The problem is it's active killing, it's active violence, and it's not always firearms. But what we use to fight that is firearms. We use violence to fight violence.
Yes.
Concept of let's use love to fight violence. That's the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. It's romantic and everything, but it's not real. That's a fairy tale. The reality is the only thing that's going to stop a violent person is another violent person with righteous intentions.
Yes.
So we use violence not to kill, but to neutralize problems.
Yes. And save lives.
And save lives. I tell my guys when they're training, we actually shoot blanks at them and those types of things to get them stressed out. And I yell at them, I'm like, you need to stop that sound. Your job is not to go kill them. Your job is to neutralize them. If you have to kill them to neutralize them, that's what you have to do. But your job is not to go kill. It's to stop killing.
Yes.
And that's how we do it, is we fight violence with violence.
Yes. Now, Mayor de Blasio, he's the poster child for what I'm about to talk about here, because and there's a political discussion that's going on because they're literally just lying to the American public. Mayor de Blasio is talking to Sean Hannity, and he said, because Sean Hannity said, don't you think law-abiding citizens have a right to defend their homes and to own a firearm and carry them with them? And he says, you know what? I believe that law enforcement is going to be the solution to the problem. I just hired 2,000 more law enforcement. Now, you, as a veteran law enforcement official, when you hear a politician speak in those terms. Do you think that the solution to stopping the madness of these extreme wingnuts on psychotropic drugs that are, they're satanic, they're just out of their mind, do you think that the solution is to pick up the phone to tell everybody to dial 911 and call the police to come save you when milliseconds count?
Right. Well, that's where that's where the name of our group, Sheepdog Defense Group, comes in, because most people in society are sheep. And even those that are not their sheepdogs, what we've done is we have taken away their ability to be sheepdogs. If you're going to play it as a numbers game, we're not going to win that game. We're not going to win the numbers game. We're not going to win it with response times. You're not going to win it with putting more police out there. And I'm telling you, in the police industry now, our muscles being pulled away from us. And it's terrifying to me. I train rookie officers, and it's terrifying to me what we're doing to these new officers across the country. These live PD shows like this, my wife likes to watch that show, and I'm like, ooh, I can't. It just drives me crazy. I can't watch it because these officers are being restricted in what they can do, and the criminals' rights have been raised so much. The reason I do my business the way I do my business in the private sector instead of the police sector is because citizens are actually allowed more opportunity to do what I would call justice than officers are anymore. So no, the answer is not going to be adding police because the police, and I'm probably going to offend some people by saying this, but what we've become is guys with guns and pens, and we go write reports. Mm-hmm. And then we move on and we hope a warrant gets served. And if not, and what's done is we're giving an inch to the criminals, and they're taking and they're taking and they're taking. Mm-hmm. And politics is not something I get into for that reason, because it's just too depressing for me.
Yeah, exactly. It is very depressing. But, talking about the politics in the context that we are is to bring us back to a logical solution, because both sides, hey, listen, we all have Republicans and Democrats that sit at the table at Thanksgiving, and we argue about what we think will be the better solution for affordable health care or whatever it is, whatever our political issues are. We want, all of us want affordable health care. We just have different ideas as to how to go about doing it. Stopping mass shootings. There's not one person that does not want to stop a mass shooting. Period. We both want to do that. I think that you and I right now having this discussion, we have better ideas, okay, as to how, so let's say, for instance, we have to train people at school, kids at school. If something happens, how are you going to respond? Law enforcement is going to be there minutes afterwards. There may be some weirdo that shows up at campus. We need to identify who that person is, the shooter, because I remember the day, I think it was back in Columbine, everybody has their, law enforcement shows up. They don't know who is when they arrive. Everybody's got their hands up and everyone's a potential shooter, correct?
Right.
And
that's the way the scene looks. It's not a problem that, like you said, you're throwing more officers at it. Policy does need to be changed. And again, I'm not into politics. Policy does need to be changed, but just the human nature of people needs to be changed too. You were talking about the different drugs that people are getting into.
Yes.
That type of stuff is not going away. It's not going. That's another facet that needs to be looked at. That's not in my wheelhouse. But taking away people's power to defend themselves is definitely not the answer.
It's not.
The answer is to empower those people and to let them know that as long as you're, in my opinion, acting righteously and using violence in the proper way, that is the way to protect yourself. And if that becomes a philosophy for the country,
yes,
we're going to be tough on crime. We're going to stop being soft on crime. We're going to be tough on crime. Mm-hmm. We're not going to put you in there and you paint your cell the color you want and give you all the cable channels. You're actually going to have a hard time in jail, and it's the place you don't want to go. Mm-hmm. I deal with the same people over and over who get locked up, and they come out and they're like, man, I liked it better on the inside. I'd rather just get locked up again. So they'll go do a robbery just to go see their cousin in jail. That's a problem to me.
Yeah.
To victimize somebody and strike them or stab them or do something just to get locked up because that's where they're more comfortable.
Yes, it's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate, but true. I have an article that was just recently published on The Hill, and that's how you came to us. But the public spaces and places of worship have become one of those targets that we talked about for mass shooters. Some churches are preparing by arming and training their congregation. This should not be a radical concept. If you heard, by the way, if you're a leftist or a Democrat and you just heard the conversation we just had, it's the most logical thing to let's eliminate that potential soft target. Let's have the open and honest discussion about a church we need to know that they're a target automatically for the crazy individual. And if those people are not prepared with how to contend with this, tell us how you're working with churches to help get people trained as to how to
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm from Texas, where everybody's got a gun. We do. I'm a Christian. My partners are all Christian men. We're all tactically trained, but we're all Christian men, and we believe that the purpose of going to church is to go in and hear the word, and not to worry about who just walked in the back door. Every time the door opens up, it's just it's not an easy place to be anymore. The word sanctuary means safe place, but for those who do evil, it becomes a killing floor. It becomes a soft killing floor where people won't defend themselves. It's like a feeding frenzy with sheep. So we go in and we harden those targets through different drills, locking down, but primarily having quick armed responders, whether they're in uniform, not in uniform. I'm not going to tell secrets, but I got a lot of pastors that are at the pulpit and they've got a piece of steel on them, and they're very, very accurate. That's how you're going to stop. That's how you're going to stop these things. And it does happen. There are a lot of mass shootings that get stopped by people who have had that type of training. We're not seeing them as much in the mainstream media. But for me, I'm just an officer in Texas. I can't fix the world right now, but what I can do is clean up my own backyard and hope that spreads. And I know the article that went out, I've seen a lot of different stories on it, and guys are coming out of the woodwork saying, we need to do this, we need to do this. And I can't help them. I'm one person here, but if they do something, if they get trained, if they talk to their parishioners and say, you know what, let's come in and let's do a little bit of training with a men's group. Let's go out and take a class to learn how to shoot properly, so that when one person walks and stands in the middle of 400, we don't have bullets just flying everywhere. And again, leading to that problem of, well, guns killed them. No, it was the lack of training that killed people.
Right.
People would just properly train and keep the ones armed that need to be armed. If you don't want to be armed, don't be armed. But if you do, train on it and carry it. Don't go get a license and then don't carry the gun.
Right.
It's pointless. You leave it at home, it's not going to help you.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
That's what we believe in churches is we harden those targets up. We get quick people to respond quickly, again, with medical training as well, because in Columbine, a lot of kids were left there for hours bleeding to death while nobody came in.
Yes.
That's not the case anymore. But if you can keep somebody alive in a major city for an hour, you can get them to a surgeon and save their life. So we primarily stop our threats, and after we stop our threats, we return and we save people that need to be saved.
That's right. And this isn't a new radical concept, is it?
No, it's really not. It's not something that some churches, and I'm not going to talk about denominations, some are a lot more receptive to it than others.
Sure.
I do consultation to churches for free. I'll go in and talk to them about stuff just because I like talking it. There are a lot that I'll walk in and I say, the first thing you have to do is get rid of those signs that say no guns because they're not going to pay attention to it. The only ones who are going to pay attention to the no gun signs are the ones that don't have a criminal record and don't want one. The ones that are already criminals, they're going to do their methamphetamine like a good criminal does. They're going to grab their pistol and they're going to walk right in that building. So the signage and the pretending it's not a problem and pretending that we can make it go away by getting rid of, it's not the hardware, it's the software. If somebody is a sociopath, if they have killing tendencies, you're not going to stop them from killing simply by saying you can't have a gun here. They're going to bring the gun, and if for some reason you can stop them from bringing a gun, they're going to go to something else. They're going to go to a club, a knife, some other form of violence.
They are.
And if we disarm the honest people, they're still going to get their objective done.
Yes, that's right. And the training is obviously to prepare yourself when it is a chaotic situation, how to deal with the stress of that situation. How do you still function as a unit? Now, also, we have to consider, I'm a Roman Catholic. I was born and raised a Roman Catholic. I was an altar boy all the way until the Sunday before I left for the Marine Corps. And I'll tell you what, I was like the senior altar boy that was in charge of training all the other altar boys in the church. And all of these churches and congregations, they plan, they train their ushers, they train, right? They train, they practice, the choirs practice, they do all that stuff. And they do so as a unit for all of the ceremonial stuff that they do to welcome their parishioners. They've got obviously a curriculum for their Bible study. They're doing all that. But why would you not, knowing full well that you are a soft target of the crazy person, why would you not at least have a discussion? How are we going to handle this as a community? How are we going to do it? Are we going to ignore it as a group, or are we going to train as a group? Right?
It's where the priorities lie. And
yes.
If you look at the budget of any church, probably 35. A friend of mine who builds churches, he said 35-40% of a budget can go into just being fire retardant, different things you put under the carpets and the walls, just so it passes fire code. But again, fire is not what's been killing people; it's other people that have been killing other people.
Right.
Then they'll put into let's repave the parking lot and let's buy this piece of art to put in here. And it always just becomes, again, it's an issue that we don't want to talk about. So we don't want to talk about it. We're not going to put any money into it. And the only time it really matters is the time that it happens to you. And it's happened to church after church. Over 700 people in the last 15 years have been gunned down in churches. We have a huge problem with that, but we don't want to talk about it. We want to put our head in the sand and pretend that it's not a problem. In fact, it is. We're just relying on the power of prayer.
Yes.
And it takes a little more than a prayer.
Mr. Griggle?
Everybody has a job. I tell people, if you're 90 years old on a walker and somebody comes in here with a gun, you hit your knees and you pray.
Yes.
And the guys who are able are going to get up and handle business.
That's exactly right. Now, sir, if you don't mind, can I hold you for a few more minutes over the break? I want to take a break here. Yeah, it's just about a 3-minute break, and then we'll come back. I want to continue the discussion. I don't want to end it here because we're gonna stay with the logical solution. When we come back, and I'll allow you to answer this when we come back from the break. De Blasio has a solution to spend taxpayer dollars to hire 2,000 police officers to save us, whereas with the churches, how many volunteers do you think that could get well trained to become versus an usher, maybe a security guard at the church? What's more costly? We'll be back right after this. You guys don't go away. Many people have been raving about the benefits of nootropics, and my regular listeners know that I'm a big fan of cognitive enhancement supplements. Recently, I tried Gorilla Mind Rush, and I'm here to tell you that it's the best daily supplement I'm taking right now to help keep me focused and at the highest level of concentration I need to keep up with the flow of news and information we deliver to you daily. Gorilla Mind products not only supplement my regular daily nutrition. When you buy Gorilla Mind Rush, Gorilla Mind Smooth, Gorilla Dream, or Gorilla Youth Serum anti-aging products, you help support our operation. We're an authorized affiliate, and when you buy Gorilla Mind products by visiting PeteLive.tv/gorilla, you're literally making an investment in our show. Invest in your well-being. Invest in our show. It's a winning partnership between our listeners of the Pete Santilli Show, the best cognitive, health, and anti-aging products on the market today. Just visit PeteLive.tv/gorilla to learn more. That's PeteLive.tv/gorilla.
From sweet and spicy to fiery, bold, and full of flavor, Brother Doc's is not your typical beef jerky. Never dry and brittle. This jerky comes beautifully packaged, with large cuts of meat that are moist, tender, and chewy from beginning to end. Brother Doc's recipes contain the highest quality ingredients that result in innovative flavor masterpieces, like orange teriyaki, barbecue mesquite, and their signature bold pepper flavors properly named Volcano and Burnout. Moderate pricing and great flavor will have you in beef jerky heaven. Go to sbn.buzz/brotherdocs to place your order so Doc knows you heard about him here on the Pete Santilli Show. It's true what they say about Brother Doc's beef jerky. One bite and you'll be a believer too.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you install computer antivirus software, or you put a smoke detector in your home, or you sign a marriage prenuptial agreement? You're preparing. You're preparing for the worst, actually. You're preparing to be attacked and hacked, or for a fire in your home, or for a marriage breaking up. Whatever it is, you're preparing for the worst. That all actually makes sense. Same goes for building a food storage plant. You're preparing for when natural disasters strike and shelves go empty at the grocery store. Or you can't get there because you're cut off from everything, like what's happening in some places in the Midwest, where flooding has made islands out of farms and subdivisions. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. I trust and use them, and you should too. A 2-week food storage kit gets you started. They're available now for a special price of only $75 when you go to my special website, preparewithpete.com. These kits from My Patriot Supply, including breakfast, lunch, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. Order now so you're prepared. Preparewithpete.com. That's preparewithpete.com. I didn't want to end abruptly because I've got just this one final comment. And then, of course, David Riggle, I want you to speak to our listening audience about how we can support your efforts and really do whatever we can to either through, because it's not going to be done through one organization. Every community needs to get involved in this concept. But sir, answer that question. Don't you think that it is much more cost effective for we the people, especially if you go by politically the left's narrative that there's this crisis, this epidemic of mass shootings? Well, if there is an epidemic and it's a crisis, it's going to cost us a lot of money to solve the problem if we hire 2,000 law enforcement officials in every major metro area versus what's your solution?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the two benefits to the model I use is, first of all, cost. Cost always comes up. We use a volunteer model. So we have people that come in and they're essentially putting their life on the line for free because that's what they want to do. And the bigger benefit to using a volunteer model is that the opposite of fear is not bravery. The opposite of fear is love. There's no man on this country who's not going to run towards the sound of gunfire. We know there's his kids in that room, or friends, or that's how you take common people and make them take action. Is you charge them to protect the people that they care about.
Yes.
And in doing so, you get people people are like, wow, your business model is crazy. You have people pay you to put their life on the line to die. Well, yes, that's exactly what we do. You can pay me $45 an hour and I'll sit there and I'll play Candy Crush and I'll do my thing. And if something happens and I happen to hear about it, I'll respond to it. Or you can put me in a room where the people that I love are there and I'm going to be fully attentive. I'm going to know what doesn't look right in that room and I'm going to respond quickly and accurately. And fear is not going to be a factor in that situation. That's why the model works, and it's a model that in Texas it's different. We have licensing issues here that we go through, and other states may as well. But the volunteer model of taking somebody and arming them in a church to protect people that they love is cost effective, and it's also going to cause people who normally wouldn't take action to take that action. So.
Isn't it? That psychologically, isn't that dynamic also important to talk about? Because when you talk about the camaraderie among police officers, they all train together, they work together, live together, they know each other's families, and then all of a sudden when they're in harm's way, not that they're not protective of the public, obviously they're in the job to protect the public, but ultimately when you go into a situation like that, you want to make sure you've got each other's backs. And you don't know who the
camaraderie is a huge benefit as well. I've got about 100 guys that are volunteering for me at about a little less than 20 locations, and they all correspond with each other. They visit each other's churches, do different events. They hang out off duty, playing softball together, stuff like that. That camaraderie, brotherhood is necessary.
Right.
And it is when you're putting something as serious as putting your life on the line. Anybody that's ever done that, whether you be military, police, or anybody that's put their life on the line for others, the people that you put your life on the line with become such a tight bond that it's extremely important in that dynamic.
Yeah.
And yes, that's why I recommend in churches that are going to do something like this, get a group together of men, even women that want to shoot. Get them out there, train together. Put yourself through scenarios, through stress. Sometimes you have to induce stress by exercise. If you can use some kind of reality-based system or scenario system, do it and do it as a group and then work through it because it tightens your group. It prepares you for what's going to happen. It gets your heart rate up so you can see how you respond under stress. And most importantly, it's familiar to you. There's been several situations in the 5.5 years that I've been doing this where we've run scenarios based on what we've seen happening in the country. And then sure enough, it happens at one of our churches. It happens a week later or a year later even. But they'll call me back. I talked to one this morning, and she said, she goes, that scenario, I can't believe it actually happened, and I responded exactly like I was supposed to because it was familiar to me.
Right.
So the training is key. It's imperative, and training as a group like that and under stress is extremely important.
Yeah, and training under stress in that scenario, when the stress hits in a real-life scenario, you're literally just operating based on how you were trained. Hopefully,
you're creating a muscle memory.
When
I do reality training, I'm a reality training instructor as well.
Right.
And even when I'm an instructor, knowing I might get zapped or shot, it gets your anxiety level up a little bit. In the shooting encounters that I've had as an officer, I've been downrange of gunfire several times, and you're right. It kind of goes into autopilot.
Yeah.
You're able to think clearly. You're able to take that cleansing breath and work through it because you've trained on it so many times. You've already raised that stress level.
Right.
It's familiar to you. It's something you can do. So that's why we believe highly in reality training.
So the same concept, and we're speaking of course, just eliminating a potential target, a church. I believe no churches should be a gun-free zone. If a church opts out of something like this, they need to do that as a community, as a parish. You opt out and say, we choose not to train for that likely scenario because we are a target. We choose not to do that, and they may regret that in the future. But they should be either opting in or opting out. But ultimately, if they opt in, guess what? Locally, when they train together, they come together, they pray together, they love each other. When somebody walks in that's wearing a pair of shorts and has a backpack into a church and hasn't been praying with them, they're going to stand out like a sore thumb. Immediately, everyone that's trained in security says, "What's up with that guy? What's going on here?" Right? The whole parish is looking at him, and they know how to respond to that. We heard about this in training. This guy's an oddball. He stands out. I've never seen him. And he's going to come in here.
In churches, it's a different dynamic because I tell my guys half of what you do is with the gun, half of what you do is with the scripture. A lot of people are going to come to church looking for a solution. And when people, especially men, don't get the solution they look for, a lot of times they do turn to violence.
Yes.
So somebody may not be coming to your church to do violence, but they might decide to do violence after they get there because they don't get the answer they thought they wanted.
Yes.
So those are the scenarios that you got to train through as well. And as you harden targets, the predator who's looking for a soft target, as the soft targets get smaller and smaller, the chances of you being one of those targets increases if you don't opt to go ahead and do something. And there's not only a moral, but there's even a legal liability to doing nothing. So there needs to be something, and putting the signs up and saying, well, we're just going to put this sign up and therefore they're not going to come in is just naive. It's just not smart. So I wish every church in the country would do this. There's 8,000 churches within 50 miles of my house. I wish they would do that. I wish they would all harden up and put me. It's just not a reality. There's too many people who don't understand. They don't know what they don't know.
No, and I want our listening audience to share this. This has been a great discussion. Because, ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, when we look at the overarching issues, we've got some moral issues. We've got a degradation of morality. We've gotten away from God. And, sir, I think you agree with me that it's not a good solution to start worshiping the God of the government to solve all of our problems. It's going to be we the people from the ground up, right? With godly principles, I believe, right?
Well, I worship God. I don't worship any man. I worship God above everybody else. And who I am is because of him, and what I do is because of him.
Yes, sir. Amen.
Become is because of him. And the people that I've trained, who they've become is because of him. It all has to focus back on that. And for us to step up and say this is going to be a man problem, a man is going to fix, is not true. It all has to come from God. My gift that I was given was the ability to teach and the ability to be violent when I need to be, and to know the difference of when you should and shouldn't. And there are so many people out there that have that same gift, and especially in churches, they're everywhere. There are so many good men and women out there that can do right. They just need to be given that opportunity. And something as nasty as politics doesn't need to be a part of it. It needs to be back to our founding fathers. We have a Second Amendment. I'm a huge supporter. I'm an NRA for Life member. I believe in the ability and the right to carry arms. It's not a privilege, it's a right. That right can be taken from you in certain circumstances, but not just because we think it's a solution to some problem that we don't really understand.
Yeah, but you still were sent down here. We're all sent down here naked with a right to defend ourselves against our predators. Just when it comes to having your guns taken away, you still have a right to defend yourself. It's just going to be without a gun if you've made mistakes or you lose that right. Right.
But you're not. I'm sorry. If that was a solution, it's not even a possibility. The feasibility of it's just not there. Again, I'm in Texas, and I'm not sure about the politics of the rest of the country, but there's not a whole lot of officers that I work with that are going to help take up guns. We want me to take up somebody's gun, I'll knock on the door and say there's nobody home, and I'm going to keep moving on. I don't want to take away the ability for somebody who is on my side to assist me in doing what's right.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. And ladies and gentlemen, share this message far and wide. I have on the screen, actually, right next to you, Your website is sheepdogdefensegroup.com. I want you to leave us with some inspirational messages as to what we can do. I mean, it'd be great if your organization could get everyone trained, across the country. That's physically impossible. I think it's important that we each take the steps ourselves to get our local communities set straight and right with God, of course. But do so with godly principles and just take corrective action. If this really is a problem, we can solve it. But go ahead.
Right.
I'll give you the floor.
I feel that if you have the desire and ability, stop pretending that this is not a problem. It is a problem, but there's a very simple solution. That solution is to step up, quit talking, and take action. Train, arm yourself, harden your targets, and remember that God's above all, and we do what we can here on earth, and our eternity has been decided if you're saved. But what we do while we're on this planet is we love one another the way He does. And in doing that, we have to prepare for the evil that's also on this planet.
Yeah, and to put out, as to the political discussion, we should all opt out of the political lunacy, the left versus right thing, and just opt out of that thing and start thinking about our families, thinking about our communities. What is best for our communities and our families, our local church, our local mall? What is best for us? And you know what? If we go about it with the right principles, we can solve anything, just as long as we stop listening to them and the media and all those other people, right?
Right. Everybody has an opinion, and most people are smart and they give themselves credit for it. We let the media decide what we're going to believe, and that's why the country is in the position that it's in now. The values, the home values, the principles of being a parent, instead of sending your kids to school and telling them I'll see you after your senior year, the family value has to be back. We got to be back in churches, and to do so, we got to feel safe there. But the concept of just being a man and leading your home has been lost on so many people, and it's not that hard. It's really easy to lead your family, lead your community, step up, be a leader, train, be prepared for the day that violence knocks on your door, and God will meet you halfway.
Yeah, that's right. And work with your local sheriff, your local police chief, your local law enforcement as well. Lots of resources available, as well as a lot of online resources at sheepdogdefensegroup.com. You have a YouTube channel as well that can be connected through that website, and your Facebook page. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm kind of new to social media because I'm not a millennial, but that is up and running. So hit us up on that, like that, I'd appreciate it. And we are going to be
that's okay.
Upping our presence in social media.
Oh shoot! You know what? I could probably let's stay in contact because if there's any way that I can help. I mean, I'm an internet marketer. Ultimately, I've done a lot of internet marketing, and setting up social media and stuff like that. I could certainly help you in that regard. Yeah, and anytime that we can have you back on. If you've got some new development or there's a new story and we can educate the public, I'd like to have you back on. All right?
Okay. I appreciate the opportunity today.
Oh, thank you, sir, for being on. God bless you. And we really, really praise your work. Thank you for your service to our country, our nation. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, coming off of the very hot topic, thank you very much, David. Just because we're not gonna do a break here, but I thank you very much. I hope you don't mind me disconnecting you now. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming off of the heated discussion that we had leading up to this, David Hernandez, one cop to another, David Riggle, be safe, brother. Absolutely, David Hernandez. Thank you very much for that with a $99 super chat. Thank you. Was that not one of the best? Oh, man, I'm serious. I literally have... How did we run into this guy, Ashley Jones? Okay, everybody thank our producer.
Yeah.
Ashley Jones, thank you very much for producing one of the best segments that I think we've ever had on the show that was so perfectly timed. I know everybody got something out of that. That's okay. And I want everybody else to just think about what Ashley has done for us over the years, because we're so starved for information and solutions, and it's up to we the people. Can you imagine? We were just empowered in each of our communities right now to take ownership, right, of the issues that of course, we have to talk about the politics. The left, their idea is to surrender to the collective and call Bill de Blasio 911. He's got 2,000 people standing by waiting to save you. That's not the right solution.
You know what I really loved about this guest, Pete, is that he is so honest.
Yes.
He's just honest, straightforward, gave you the facts, right?
He's a killer, too.
He said, and you have to be.
Yes.
In certain situations, you have to be.
If you want to defend your daughter at church, you better be.
Yeah, and you better be trained for that. I love it. I loved that interview. He had great positive solutions that work. Amazing, just amazing. And you know what he said? He's in Texas, right? So he said everybody in Texas has a gun. And but he said, listen, if they order me to go door to door and confiscate people's weapons,
they're not
it's
home.
not going to happen.
He said they're not home.
He said,
knock, 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 they're not home.
They're not home. I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Amazingly honest.
What leadership right now at a time when we need somebody like that. And you know what? He's seasoned law enforcement. I already read you all of his credentials. SWAT trained. I mean, he is that first responder that we all, praise, right? And give kudos to.
Right.
He is that guy, very well trained. You want that guy running around at the local churches, training people, local security guards, volunteers. It costs nothing. Right?
Amazing guest. Amazing guest, Ashley
Just
Jones.
gave you big kudos, Ashley Jones, our producer. Okay? That's okay. Are you kidding me? Okay. Anyways, Ashley's talking in my ear right now with the best news. What's that? Unbelievable. They okay, I need to say this. Let me go on the air because just in case she tunes in. Just in case she tunes in, I want to say this today, and all of our listeners know, and if Patty Stockman does not know, the letter that she put out, the article that she put out as a contributor on the Daily Caller reached me, and I was literally brought to my knees, okay, and thought about the fact that her husband, Congressman Stephen Stockman, immediately when his letter was issued, we understood the issues on the ground at Bundy Ranch. She may or may not even know about this, but I know that Stephen Stockman was doing and saying the right things during the Bundy Ranch thing. He was one of those
He's a good man.
He was one of those few courageous congressmen that was stepping up constitutionally to say, and I have it memorized. All of our attorneys have it memorized from Stephen Stockman's letter, that the Bureau of Land Management violated 43 USC 1733. I have it in my DNA because of the work that he did. And we used his letter as he was a Texas congressman. We used his letter, and we were going to use that at trial that was dismissed in Nevada. But Congressman Stephen Stockman was pursued by the same deep staters, and they pursued him in the same fashion that they did us. They withheld information. There was prosecutorial misconduct that they got caught doing, and that same system came upon Congressman Stephen Stockman. I found out that he's in jail now for 10 years. And you know what? If you guys can mute in the background, please. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me do this. Moment later. We have to fix that.
Yes.
It just blasted my ear. But I will say this now that I know, and it's the first time I've known of this. Shame on us that we don't know about Congressman Steve Stockman being in jail. Shame on me for not knowing. I cannot believe this, but I do recognize that he was told, "Don't say anything. Don't talk about your case." You know why they say that to you? Because they did the same thing to us. They said, don't talk about your case. They put protective orders upon us because they want exclusive rights to propagandize the public and the media through what they call their docket. They want exclusive rights to that, to write their narrative, and then in front of the jury, railroad you like they're doing. There's no doubt in my mind that Congressman Steve Stockman was railroaded, even if it was directly as a result of the letter that he wrote on April 15th of 2014. I had this letter. Remember when I was behind bars, right? Being held as a political prisoner. I said, get a hold of Steve Stockman's letter. Give me that letter. 43 USC 1733. educated our attorneys. They pursued this man for, and I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist because I factualized all of these conspiracy theories. I'm a victim of it, and I've now have facts that the deep state has pursued Congressman Stockman, and I can't think of a better person, or both Deb and I, to be able to at least bring huge public awareness. I'm not going to turn my back on this man. Absolutely not. And shame on we conservative patriots that say that we're constitutional. He's literally sitting behind bars as a political prisoner.
That's right.
And what are we going to do about it? So I'm going to dedicate my entire being to making sure that Patty Stockman gets the appropriate leverage that she needs, the truth. I've seen her website here. She knows what's going on. I know what's going on. And let's kick this thing up a notch and let's get some appropriate attention. And I'll tell you what, it's going to piss me off if the only person that is going to do what's right is President Trump. That will tick me off. If he's the only one, like with the Hammonds. You remember that?
Yeah.
When we kept pushing and pushing and pushing and said that what happened to the Hammond family was wrong. And the only person in the entire chain of command was President Trump to issue the pardon and get him out of jail. That's a bad thing. You congressmen, Republicans, conservatives, and independent media and mainstream media, you better start stepping up to the plate and get this man out of this situation. They have reverse engineered indictments against this guy. They withheld information he couldn't even during his trial, I understand. And we're going to hear more details because I want to bring Patty on so that we can go through the minutia. If I have to do a marathon session to get it documented and not just run her in here and out of here for an hour, okay, on a 1 hour segment. No, we'll do 1 hour segments after that. I want to do a full session with Patty Stockman. I want to lay it out. Let's get our team to actually do a chronologize and break down the story. And we need to get this information in smaller packages out to the people that matter. And those are our elected officials that have sworn an oath to uphold our U.S. Constitution as this man has.
Yep. Amen. To
okay?
That.
Because it was done to me, almost done to me. Fortunately, we had a lot of support in the Patriot community, and we went totally against the grain, and we were belligerent about getting out in social media and the press, right? And we were belligerent as defendants, but we had a whole team of us. We're not going to leave Congressman Steve Stockman behind bars as a victim of the Obama administration. That's all there is to it, so help me God. I can't think of better people in the independent media to help propel this thing. We're going to do it. Hopefully, Ashley, you can get that done. This happened today. I contacted Ashley. Deb, you know how passionate I am about this.
Yes. Absolutely.
A U.S. congressman, two-term congressman who stood up for our constitutional rights back into mine constitutional rights.
That's right.
And educated me, and I was therefore able to educate our law enforcement. I was able to educate our attorneys. I was able to educate the courts. This man, because of doing so, went up against the deep state, and they wrapped him up like a mummy and stuck him in the hoot scow. And I will not let that man spend one day more than he absolutely has to. So help me God. We'll be back right after this. Many people have been raving about the benefits of nootropics, and my regular listeners know that I'm a big fan of cognitive enhancement supplements. Recently, I tried Gorilla Mind Rush, and I'm here to tell you that it's the best daily supplement I'm taking right now to help keep me focused and at the highest level of concentration I need to keep up with the flow of news and information we deliver to you daily. Gorilla Mind products not only supplement my regular daily nutrition. When you buy Gorilla Mind Rush, Gorilla Mind Smooth, Gorilla Dream, or Gorilla Youth Serum anti-aging products, you help support our operation. We're an authorized affiliate, and when you buy Gorilla Mind products by visiting PeteLive.tv/gorilla, you're literally making an investment in our show. Invest in your well-being. Invest in our show. It's a winning partnership between our listeners of the Pete Santilli Show, the best cognitive, health, and anti-aging products on the market today. Just visit PeteLive.tv/gorilla to learn more. That's PeteLive.tv/gorilla.
From sweet and spicy to fiery, bold, and full of flavor, Brother Doc's is not your typical beef jerky. Never dry and brittle, This jerky comes beautifully packaged with large cuts of meat that are moist, tender, and chewy from beginning to end. Brother Doc's recipes contain the highest quality ingredients that result in innovative flavor masterpieces, like orange teriyaki, barbecue mesquite, and their signature bold pepper flavors properly named Volcano and Burnout. Moderate pricing and great flavor will have you in beef jerky heaven. Go to sbn.buzz/brotherdocs to place your order so Doc knows you heard about him here on the Pete Santilli Show. It's true what they say about Brother Doc's beef jerky. One bite and you'll be a believer too.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you install computer antivirus software, or you put a smoke detector in your home, or you sign a marriage prenuptial agreement? You're preparing. You're preparing for the worst, actually. You're preparing to be attacked and hacked, or for a fire in your home, or for a marriage breaking up. Whatever it is, you're preparing for the worst. That all actually makes sense. Same goes for building a food storage plant. You're preparing for when natural disasters strike and shelves go empty at the grocery store. Or you can't get there because you're cut off from everything, like what's happening in some places in the Midwest, where flooding has made islands out of farms and subdivisions. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. I trust and use them, and you should too. A 2-week food storage kit gets you started. They're available now for a special price of only $75 when you go to my special website, preparewithpete.com. These kits from My Patriot Supply, including breakfast, lunch, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. Order now so you're prepared. Preparewithpete.com. That's preparewithpete.com. Many people have been raving about the benefits of nootropics, and my regular listeners know that I'm a big fan of cognitive enhancement supplements. Recently, I tried Gorilla Mind Rush, and I'm here to tell you that it's the best daily supplement I'm taking right now to help keep me.
You're listening to the Pete Santilli Show. Pete Santilli telling you the truth, whether you like it or not. This is
Many people have been raving.
Santilli and FEMA Region 5 in the bunker. We're going to give a check. We're going to be lining our faces, air dots, chest, staying right, wrap sideways, down, totally off the colors, and make the truth come out. Period.
Wow. Okay. So I train wrecked the top of the hour again. That's okay, though, because we're one big happy family, right?
That's right.
We are. We're one big happy family. Why? Because we're on the back line. Actually, Patty Stockman she's a contributor to the Daily Caller, published this on August 19th. Patty Stockman didn't know about that letter written April 15th, 2014, with the following U.S. code, 43 U.S.C. 1733. Mm-hmm. And the impact that had on the Bureau of Land Management and the Bureau of Land Management as the Army going after and pointing guns and taking land. Okay, we're talking about $153 trillion in natural resources wealth in the United States of America. That the Army, for that, on behalf of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, the Federal Reserve, all those deep staters, okay, they want the exclusive rights to be able to come in and biff ranchers off the land, like, right? All those ranchers all throughout the West. They want to install uranium-1 in southeastern Oregon. And if Miss Stockman is listening to me right now, January 26th of 2016, I broadcast at 10 a.m. that we discovered that Hillary Clinton took at the time I reported $130 million from people connected to uranium-1 who were operating in southeastern Oregon. And the Department of Interior was congratulating Oregon Energy, formerly known as Uranium-1. I reported that, and 10 hours later, I'm miraculously in handcuffs with my arrest warrant signed off on by Loretta Lynch. But the two are not connected. They actually charged me with conspiring to take over a bird farm. Right? Mm-hmm. And it was all made up. Why? I wonder why. I mentioned Uranium-1 at a time when I shouldn't have been talking about Uranium-1, didn't I?
Certainly.
And that's who's after Congressman Stockman. Mm-hmm. And I'm just an organ grinder monkey. Patty Stockman needs to know that I'm the one guy that was on the inside. The worst thing they could have ever done. Patty Stockman, just know this. They actually put me on the inside for 619 days. It was the worst thing they ever did because we not only won just one trial up in Oregon, we won 2 trials, brought them down to their knees. And Congressman Steve Stockman's contribution to that whole effort was not only huge, they dismissed the case in order to cover the whole thing up because it would have been exposed. His letter would have come out. And we would have exposed the fact that the BLM was running around with badges and guns without the sheriff's contract. They didn't even have arresting authority at Bundy Ranch. And Ms. Stockman has no idea about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wonder why Lois Lerner was going after him. I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why he was railroaded with the jury. Just like how many jury trials did we go through?
Oh my gosh! I don't know.
They kept doing it over and over and over
4 or 5
again.
times.
We will not turn our back on Congressman Steve Stockman. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna bring public awareness to this thing. Shame on the conservatives. Shame on them. Shame on everyone. But it's time to get everybody educated, and it's time to get to work here. Get this man out of jail. What are you doing? What are you doing? And don't piss me off and force President Trump to pardon him. Every single GOP congressman and woman needs to be stepping up saying this is an outrage. This is a deep state hit against a great American patriot that would not relent. I can't, if I listed, and I will list them because we're going to do a special segment. If you knew how this guy was going after, like my little letter, okay, is really to Patty Stockman. If she looks at it, what letter, 43 USC, what the heck does that mean? You should see all the other stuff he was poking the bear about.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, definitely.
And she's not a conspiracy theorist. She knows what Congressman Stockman was doing.
Yeah, he was a great man, a great
congressman.
Yep.
Congressman.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now a political prisoner. And nobody's stepping up. What are we doing?
It happens in America.
It does?
It happens all the time.
There was, listen to this. Truthfully, most conservative authors and media personalities made no effort to reach out to my husband, his counsel, myself, or anyone else who could give them a different angle, an angle different from that served up by the Obama DOJ. Sadly, the DOJ players stayed the same even after the change in the White House residence. Why? Because they are deep state Obama holdovers. There are literally deep state rats running around in every prosecutor office. You replace the U.S. attorney, and what do you got? You got a bunch of deep state rat bureaucrat leave-behinds that are the same people that were committing the crimes over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this investigation's taken so long, because you got to go through with the NSA system and purge the system by reading their emails and looking at their text messages, because you can't just fire the attorney general and think that the deep state's going to go away. Absolutely not. She writes, so there was no investigation or exposure by or outcry from conservatives about what was actually happening to Stockman. The lack of substantive coverage is disturbing, to say the least, especially since the prosecutor who signed Stockman's indictment was copied on Lois Lerner's emails. The IRS employee who targeted conservative nonprofits, but they weren't allowed to mention that at trial. And there's a lot of other anomalies. And excellent article here. This is not going away. We're actually going to kick this up a notch. Patty Stockman has been married to Steve for 30 years, a conservative activist in her own right, and partnered alongside him in all of his political endeavors. She has her own professional career, having worked for NASA for 35 years. That's who I want on the case. A rocket scientist, right? She knows what's going on.
She does.
Go to defendapatriot.com. Everybody, go show her some link love. Let's start showing some support. Let's get ready for this thing. We'll likely do it next Saturday. I'm going to do a marathon session on this, specifically dedicated to a great American patriot, a congressman that was sought after by the Obama deep state. President Trump needs to know about this so that way he can shove his 9.5 up the boot, okay, of all of his underlings that didn't do something. I'm ticked off at my fellow independent media people. Why was this not all over independent media? Why are people not outraged that Pete Santilli was made a political prisoner for 619 days. Oh, those same people you mean in independent media were too scared to approach it, right? They ran away from it. Were they when I was in? No, there were a select few. We know who they were. Everybody, I want all hands on deck in independent media. I'm going to do the best job I can. I'll be the ambassador for this story, as if I were reporting on myself being on the inside as a member of the independent media, right? Except I wasn't a congressman. I was just some lowly journalist who wore camouflage. And they said I wasn't press. I had more of a viewing audience than the entire mainstream media combined, and I wasn't press. Those were the people who were saying I wasn't press. I used to tell them, I'm not press, really? I got a bigger audience than you. You're not press till you reach my stature, right? Oh, this is so upsetting to me. Let's break this down. We got a lot of breaking news, a lot, and we're gonna transition here, just temporarily away from the Steve Stockman story. I'm not being overly dramatic about this, Deb Jordan. You know.
No, I know. You're very passionate about this. The minute you saw it.
I snapped. I couldn't believe that I didn't know about it.
Yeah. Amazing.
All right. I just had up on the screen our YouTube channel. Okay. As you know, this is our 15th YouTube channel. President Trump made a comment the other day about the people that remain in social media that are conservatives, that have large followings, okay, have not been deleted, right? And he referred to a couple of individuals who was Terrence K. Williams, for instance. Mm-hmm. He said he's well respected. He's got like 500,000 followers. Could you imagine if what has happened to us through being taken off the streets, to having our channel shut down, all of our social media deleted, everything that they've been doing on the leftist side of Silicon Valley and Washington, D.C., if we were just left alone? Could you imagine how many followers we would have right now?
Oh, can you imagine?
Can you imagine how many followers we would have right now? We'd have on our channel, because we would have been promoting President Trump's candidacy for president of the United States.
Yes.
We would have millions of followers. Millions. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I am not butthurt about that. You know why? Because I'm a scrapper. Right?
That's right.
All I need is this ashtray and this lamp, right?
Yeah.
And my OptiGrabs.
That's it.
And we're headed out the door with my freaking terry cloth robe. And we're going to go do this thing, and we're going to take our system back with godly intentions, right?
Always.
Peaceful intentions.
Always.
Lawful intentions. And we're going to do this thing together. But I need you guys to participate in this. If I'm worth it to you, for you to tune in, then I'm worth the clicking up the thumbs up button. Why? Because that helps propel the show. And we're going to all together fight this thing, right? Mm-hmm. Guess what else I need you to do? We had 100,000 people, a couple hundred comments down below, right?
Yes.
Why are we doing that? Because making a comment down below, believe it or not, even if you say, Pete Santilli, wow, you have really, I bet you got polka dotted underwear. Leave a comment. Show some activity. Just drop in there. Why are you doing that? It's not to appease me, because that activity actually you're literally pushing right through the barricade called the algorithm. We will broadcast the news, and this is my segue, and this is why this is important, okay? Facebook is pulling another Trump campaign. We're talking about President Trump here. Listen to me. If you love President Trump, you need to know the same thing that's happening to the show is happening to President Trump. Facebook pulling another Trump campaign ad. This time a Women for Trump ad.
Yep.
It comes after Facebook eliminated top pro-Trump publishers from their webpage. Guess what? We lost connection to 22 million people on all our Facebook pages overnight in the midterm elections.
That's right.
Every single show we were doing, we had 50 to 100,000 people. 50 to 100,000. Go tell me how many conservatives out there right now are doing 50 to 100,000 views over at Facebook. Tell me. How many?
Not anybody anymore.
They're not.
Not anymore.
Why? Why is that? That's my point.
Oh, right. Because they've throttled everybody back so bad that
It's called electioneering.
Yep.
Right?
It's called election meddling.
It's called election meddling. Facebook has removed a Women for Trump ad on Monday saying the ad violated Facebook policy. Stand with President Trump. And here's the ad. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
The Women for Trump coalition needs the support of strong women like you. Add your name. And they removed it because it was against their policy. The government of Facebook has determined that you will not be able to promote an election unless you're consistent with their policies and ideas.
And it includes everybody.
You need to be all inclusive, right?
Because isn't that what they're saying? That this is not inclusive. It doesn't include everybody.
According to Facebook and Gizmodo, a Facebook spokesperson told Gizmodo that the ad violated a section of its policies that prohibits content that asserts or implies personal attributes, including direct or indirect assertions or implications about traits such as race, ethnicity, gender, sexual identity, religion, or financial standing.
So you're not allowed to call women strong.
Strong women.
Women who support Trump are not allowed to be. You're not allowed to look at them and say, "Wow,
strong
this
women
is
like
you." A strong woman like you. You're not allowed to be categorized as strong.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fire.
That is insanity.
I'm gonna fire Ashley Jones like a freaking missile at Mark Zuckerberg right in his loins. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, and that's not promoting violence. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna freaking weaponize women like Deb Jordan. Okay, I'm gonna put her in a freaking catapult and have her slung over the right.
Yeah.
And she, anyways, that's the violation of policy. Can't talk about stuff like that. This is unbelievable. Who runs this place, you guys? Mash that thumbs up button right now. Do it right now. You push past Wachikis, okay? Her army of freaking leftists. You push that button, you comment, you tell them that we will not relent to your stupid internet government. That's not what democracy looks like.
No. This is not
what democracy looks like.
No, it is not.
You grab our guns, try to manipulate our elections. You stick our congressmen in jail. You take patriots. The equivalent back then, there was no such thing as a deplorable, okay? When I was running around with camouflage at the bird farm, trying to broadcast that the people were making soup out there and having barbecues, inviting everybody, including the government agents.
Truth.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We were deplorables through a freaking barbecue. And ask them, can you please just write a parking ticket out there, right? They were just deplorables. But no, we got to have James Comey send all of his army out there to go kill people. Go kill you deplorables. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you do not click that thumbs up button, the people that are on the other side want power, okay? They literally want, this is a political show. They want to stop the propagation of the truth to the American people. Why? So that not them. They're going to have people like Barack Obama and James Comey with the people with the guns to come and shoot you. How do I know that? Because it's already been done. We need to put out right now, put these people to bed, euthanize the equivalent, digital equivalent of euthanizing them. There's only one way to do it. And that is to push past these algorithms to say, in the same fashion, to defend our First Amendment that we do when we say we're going to stand up for our Second Amendment rights. When we say we're not going to go with your red flag laws, we're not going to go with your little, I'm not going to call, I was going to say something offensive.
Yeah, don't do it.
It rhymes with flag.
Don't do it.
Okay, your internet flag laws, okay?
Right.
We're not going to accept your internet government. We're not going to accept your God of the environment. We're not going to accept your collectivism. We will never be a socialist country, and we will especially extinguish communism in the United States of America. The deep state is going down, and you freaking leftists, multi-gendered, by the way, can't even figure out what freaking box to click, and we keep telling you there should only be two, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
You want to be a man or a woman? That's it. Choose one carefully, right?
Absolutely.
Don't freaking confuse me.
That's it.
What is the one? There's what the hell do they call themselves? Like that's unisex one. What is just
I don't know.
It's an NPC, right?
I'm almost afraid to
They're
say
like
anything.
a gray face. They want to. I'm feeling this way today. It's this gray faced NPC meme, right? You know the NPC.
You're almost afraid to say anything, right? Because you might get it wrong and then have a
throw on freaking pumps or sneakers. Choose one. Liquid Gen. Don't tell me it's called liquid gender, okay?
Oh my
Don't
goodness.
tell me that. All right? That's not how we're going to work.
Listen.
That's not how we're going to operate.
No, man, oh man.
Yeah, these people actually, they're so confused about how to run their lives. They want you to surrender to a collective, run a government that's going to run our lives. They think that they have the solution to that. But when they get the guns, if you don't go along with their plan, they're just going to point them at you and kill you.
I know plenty of transgenders that are conservative.
Absolutely.
And they love their guns and they want the government to stay the hell
out of their lives. Mind your own freaking business.
We all need to mind our own damn business.
Yeah.
Leave me the heck alonest.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
That's right. Facebook is now hiring corporate media veterans to manually curate news tabs. Okay. Do you think the Pete Santilli Show tab is going to be up there?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Do you think they're going to say, well, we're with the corporate media. We believe that Pete Santilli and Alex Jones have a voice. Why don't we put their tab and their news out there? What do you think? You think they're going to do that?
It took them billions of dollars to make that not happen.
I'm going to tell you something right now. If you had, and I'm going to use both of us, okay? Because Alex Jones can't get to everything. So let's use both of our names. Because he's trained me very well. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Put Alex Jones's tab up there. Put Pete Santilli's tab up there because we're going to give him a double whammy. Whatever he can't get to, I'm going to supplement, and we're going to drive it home. And we will go up against the entire international media. And if you just give everybody a choice, where will they go? Where will they go, Deb Jordan?
If you give everyone a choice.
Let's say they have the Alex Jones, Pete Santilli tab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can just tune into stuff that we talk about, and people have a choice. Or they go to the BBC, CNN, and MSNBC. Where are they going to go?
It's already been proven, and that's why they can't give you a choice. They used people like you, Alex Jones, Mike Adams, and just thousands and thousands of other alternative media to build Facebook. They built it on the idea of a conspiracy theory, the interesting news, the alternative news. They built it on that. And now after they made all their money, what do they want to do? They want to push all of that out and spend a lot of money pushing those people out and trying to prop up mainstream media. And it's not working. They're having a hell of a time. They really are.
Yeah.
People are giving them a hell of a time.
Well, here's how it's been working. Mm-hmm. When people make a choice, okay, and they have access to Alex Jones, and then they have access to Pete Santilli, like I already did it, January 2016.
Sure.
They had a choice to either tune into CNN's 3.5-minute package of the white nationalists that are running around with guns at the bird farm.
The lie.
Mm-hmm. And CBS saying that they were a bunch of racists.
Right.
And they didn't even see what color the people were, by the way. I caught them. This is January 2016. They had a choice to tune into the mainstream media, or they're like, who's this guy on the internet? Pete Santilli, running around. And he's got a stream going for 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 hours. Actually, when I'm going 6 hours, 8 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 hours of that is my camera pointed at Snowbank.
Right.
And people are just listening to my commentary. Who were they tuned into, Deb Jordan?
They were tuned into Pete Santilli.
They were tuned into us.
They made a choice.
And I didn't force anybody. Did I set up a consortium that says, okay, this is what we're going to do? All the people out there, they're on the internet. We're going to set up a corporate media conglomerate that says you must, and take everyone's faces and shove it into the freaking computer screen. Mm-hmm. And you're going to watch Pete Santilli by force. Right. Did I do that?
Oh, no.
I didn't. They came voluntarily.
Oh, yeah.
They could come and go voluntarily, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I competed with them, and guess what? Not me. I'm talking about, I provided it. The choice, the freedom of choice. I provided that. Here you go. It's freely available to you.
Yeah.
I said, if you want me to stay here, shoot, you can contribute. And actually, we were funded by our listeners. If you guys want me to stay, otherwise I'll leave. We can't afford to spend thousands of dollars. If you guys want me to stay, I'll stay. You guys kept me out there for a freaking month.
Oh, absolutely.
Actually, it lasted 619 more days after that. Just want you to know. Thanks. I appreciate that.
It absolutely
Right?
did. Yeah.
Yeah, it happened. But that was provided for by we the people.
Mm-hmm.
And don't thank me for any sacrifice. You guys caused that. They stole 619 days, right? And I wear that badge proudly on behalf of our listenership.
Yeah.
But guess what? What we have here is Facebook saying Facebook recently spoke with Axios, revealing a number of plans to promote news outlets on its platform, including the creation of a news tab featuring outlets handpicked by, do you trust this? Mark Zuckerberg.
I'll be dang.
Changing how millions of people receive the news. They want to change how they receive. First of all, they've been lied to, and now we want to change that to what? Control.
Lies and control.
Lies. No, we were in the business
lie.
up to this point. The mainstream media and social media has been lying, and now they want to specialize in pumping the lies with absolute totalitarian control.
Oh, man, absolutely.
But they call themselves anti-fascist. Who are the freaking fascists? Who are the fascists? Who are the fascists?
Who are the fascists?
Who are the fascists? I'm going to tell you something right now, and let this be a warning to you freaking Mussolini fascists, the real ones. I can smell you. I know who you are. You know why? Because I'm genetically pre-programmed to flee it. My entire family left. My father watched Mussolini and Hitler march down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Nazism and fascism. And what we have in you guys is a blend of those two. And I know who you are, and we're going to kill it. We're going to kill that idea. I know what it is. I'm genetically predisposed to take that idea and extinguish it.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming after you. And that's not a threat to anyone other than a Nazi or a fascist. I am the anti-tyrant. Okay? We need a flag, you know. These guys are against nationalism. They're running around with freaking everyone wearing the same clothing and flag, right?
I know, isn't it interesting?
We look like a bunch of freaking okie dokes that haven't taken showers.
Yeah,
okay?
what a great point you
These
just
guys
made.
are all wearing a uniform and they got a flag, and they're a bunch of freaking nationalists. They want you to worship the Antifa nation, okay?
Yeah.
They're promoting fascism.
They promote open borders, and yet they want their borders closed.
Yeah, they want their
It's
yeah,
their
that's right.
city.
You can't go to Portland. You can't go to that zip code, right?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Whatever happened? You know what? Let's go. Let's do this. Next time we have a Portland protest, let's go over there with a baby under our arm. And then we'll have the independent media take a picture and say, "Stop. Look at the children. Oh, my God. Let's bring our children to the next Portland protest. What do you think?
Indeed.
Say, please let us in. The children. Can we? As a matter of fact, we want you to feed all of our children. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have a Portland protest. Everybody bring your children, and I want Mayor Ted Wheeler to feed all of them. Right? And put them up in freaking in apartments, right? Give them big screen freaking TVs, free health care, right?
Yeah.
That's what the next protest is going to be. Call my federal babysitter, see if we can go to a protest. Huh?
Right.
Facebook plans to personalize the news tab, meaning it will require a vast amount of content on a wide range of topics for users. Wide range. Can't talk about conspiracy theories, though.
Can't do that.
Nope.
Nothing conservative.
Can't be sharing PDF documents of the CIA's mind control program. Nope. Nope. Can't do that.
You have to be an affiliate and approved by ABC.
Nope. Yep.
And CNN.
The new venture is reportedly part of a personal project by Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who is married to a Chi-Com. Okay? Thank you. Thank
He is.
you.
That's a
Friggin'
fact.
Mao Tse Zuckerberg. Facebook will reportedly be paying dozens of, they're going to pay them. Of course. Publishers in order to license content for the news tab. And news from many other sources will be included. The largest partners in the project will be paid millions of dollars a year, according to the Wall Street Journal. Facebook representatives have stated that they will be willing to pay as much as $3 million a year to license Can you imagine? You guys, come on.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God, I'm freaking scrapping for freaking. I made $17 this morning. What?
Break.
We got a break? We're a couple minutes over. Remember?
It's the half hour mark. Okay, you reset it.
Facebook.
Just letting you know.
Hold on a second. Let me check to see, because these guys are getting paid $3 million by Facebook to lie to you. Okay? Let's see how much I get to pay to tell the truth. Hold on. Let's see. Over on D Live, Lorraine, look at her. She's stepping it up.
We love Lorraine.
You guys, just to let you, and Aunt Jenny, who can I turn to for $1.48 over there? Look at that. Let me share with you. We're going to do an event here in 4 days, you guys. All right? Let's push past this thing together. All right? Those guys get paid millions. I'm not asking for millions. I'm looking for us to come together just to be able to survive and reach as many souls as possible with a great message. This has been a great show. It is a great message that, guess what? In a free market economy, if we're able to go out there and freely just communicate with as many souls as possible, that people will come to us in droves. I don't need Zuckerberg to put me on a $3 million payroll. I don't. You know what I need? I need this ashtray, this lamp, these OptiGrabs, my dog, Cooper, right? Deb Jordan, of course. She'll never leave my side, right?
Never.
And we go forward together. That's all we need. We don't want your Chi-Com, Marxist, totalitarian control.
Amen.
We don't want it.
We don't.
All I need is this $2 super chat, $3 super chat from John Van Orman. All I need is a $4.99 super chat from Pete. You give us a quick rundown of the First Amendment zone. I've heard about this and fell out of my chair. Pete, can you give us a quick rundown on the First Amendment zone? I heard about this and fell out of my chair, Semper Fi.
Indeed.
You guys keep up the support. We can do this together. $2 from Jeff George. Thank you. $99 super chat. $20 from Kevin. Kevin MJ is a tithe. Okay? This is a godly mission. Together, we're going to build this thing. We will crush Zuckerberg. We will crush him. Didn't I say I was going to crush the mainstream media in January 2016?
You did.
I can guarantee that we will crush them if you follow my lead on this one. We'll be right back.
Many people have been raving about the benefits. Many people have been raving about the benefits of nootropics, and my regular listeners know that I'm a big fan of cognitive enhancement supplements. Recently, I tried Gorilla Mind Rush, and I'm here to tell you that it's the best daily supplement I'm taking right now to help keep me focused and at the highest level of concentration I need to keep up with the flow of news and information we deliver to you daily. Gorilla Mind products not only supplement my regular daily nutrition. When you buy Gorilla Mind Rush, Gorilla Mind Smooth, Gorilla Dream, or Gorilla Youth Serum anti-aging products, you help support our operation. We're an authorized affiliate, and when you buy Gorilla Mind products by visiting PeteLive.tv/gorilla, you're literally making an investment in our show. Invest in your well-being. Invest in our show. It's a winning partnership between our listeners of the Pete Santilli Show, the best cognitive, health, and anti-aging products on the market today. Just visit PeteLive.tv/gorilla to learn more. That's PeteLive.tv/gorilla.
From sweet and spicy to fiery, bold, and full of flavor, Brother Doc's is not your typical beef jerky. Never dry and brittle. This jerky comes beautifully packaged with large cuts of meat that are moist, tender, and chewy from beginning to end. Brother Doc's recipes contain the highest quality ingredients that result in innovative flavor masterpieces, like orange teriyaki, barbecue mesquite, and their signature bold pepper flavors properly named Volcano and Burnout. Moderate pricing and great flavor will have you in beef jerky heaven. Go to sbn.buzz/brotherdocs to place your order so Doc knows you heard about him here on the Pete Santilli Show. It's true what they say about Brother Doc's beef jerky. One bite and you'll be a believer too.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you install computer antivirus software, or you put a smoke detector in your home, or you sign a marriage prenuptial agreement? You're preparing. You're preparing for the worst, actually. You're preparing to be attacked and hacked, or for a fire in your home, or for a marriage breaking up. Whatever it is, you're preparing for the worst.
That all actually makes sense. Same goes for building a food storage plant. You're preparing for when natural disasters strike and shelves go empty at the grocery store. Or you can't get there because you're cut off from everything, like what's happening in some places in the Midwest, where flooding has made islands out of farms and subdivisions. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. I trust and use them, and you should too. A 2-week food storage kit gets you started. They're available now for a special price of only $75 when you go to my special website, preparewithpete.com. These kits from My Patriot Supply including breakfast, lunch, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. Order now so you're prepared. Preparewithpete.com.
And now, the most offensive radio talk show host on the planet, Pete Santilli.
Well, I'm gonna go then! And I don't need any of this! I don't need this stuff! I don't need you! I don't need anything! Except this. This ashtray, and that's the only thing I need is this! I don't need this or this! This ashtray! And this paddle game! The ashtray and the paddle game, and that's all I need! And this remote control. The ashtray and the paddle game and the remote control, and that's all I need. These matches.
Dude, look at this is me.
And these matches and the remote control and the paddle ball.
This is me with my pants down at my knees or my ankles. And this lamp.
The ashtray. This paddle game and the remote control. And the lamp, and that's all I need. And that's all I need, too. I don't need one other thing. Not one. I need this. The battle game and the chair. And the remote control. And the matches, for sure. Well, what are you looking at? What do you think I am, some kind of a jerk or something?
What do you guys think? I'm some kind of a jerk or something? Right?
I just love it. I love it. Love it. Oh.
You know what? All we
Brings
need.
back a lot of
Okay,
memories.
now listen. All we need is you. All we need is you. Seriously, us together. We're going to do this together. We know what's going on here. I mean, this is not small news here. This is not. I'm being overly dramatic about what's going on here. We have a deep state that's after us. We have election meddling that's going on. They're doing it right on the open. They're chopping down President Trump's campaign ads.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what do we do? What do we do, folks? We don't get frustrated because all we need is us. It's all we need.
Amen.
We will conquer everything. Everything. Right?
Amen to that.
FBI now wants to monitor Facebook and Instagram for domestic threats in real time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Our public spaces, like our town squares, and we have our private spaces, like our living rooms. And in our digital lives, we also need both public and private spaces.
In our digital lives, all we need is a... Look at this guy. He's a freaking reptilian. Okay?
Speaking of the jerk.
Look at his eyes right now. They're reptilian eyes.
Yeah.
He's a freaking reptilian.
So that's why I believe
he's a droid.
That the future is private. This is the next
Oh my gosh, what a liar.
chapter for our services. I know that we don't exactly have the strongest reputation on privacy right now, to put it lightly.
You're so funny, Mark Zuckerberg. Everyone that clicked like on a Bundy Ranch photo was an unindicted co-conspirator.
Every single one.
And guess what? Your information was given to the government because the government submitted a warrant saying, give us everything. And Facebook said, okay, legally, we'll just give you everything because you asked for it. And they're working together in concert between the government and Facebook. And it's legal. You can't even sue them.
Yeah.
They can't be held liable.
Right.
The government says, give us everything. Facebook says, we're just responding to the subpoena. And they gave everything without a warrant. They had no probable cause whatsoever, but they could have indicted you. as a co-conspirator.
Absolutely.
Because you went up against the government.
Including General Mad Dog Mattis.
General Mad Dog Mattis clicked, and they used that as an example in the court.
They did.
He clicked like on a picture regarding Bundy Ranch, and Bundy Ranch was like some insurrection, that they called it. They called it an insurrection.
But I'm committed to doing this well. And we plan to do this in the way that we've developed WhatsApp. Right? Start with the most important and private use case, messaging. So we believe that a privacy-focused messaging platform has to be encrypted. So we actually launched Secret Conversations a couple of years ago. So you can already have encrypted and ephemeral conversations if you want. But now we're working towards making end-to-end encryption and reduced permanence the default across all conversations. When I decided that we were going to move our private communication services to be end-to-end encrypted, I also decided at the same time that we were going to take at least a year to consult with experts and law enforcement and governments around the world about how to build the right safety systems in an encrypted environment. Overall, this isn't just about a few new features, right? This is a big change in how we're building these products and how we run our company.
You know what? This is what we do right now. When I say click the thumbs up, click the like button, we're on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel over on DLive. We need to basically propel our way the hell away from these reptilians. Okay? We build strength. We need the ability to, let's say, stream on Brighteon. We're working on that. I'm going to be the first streamer on Brighteon. We're setting it up. Yes. We need to be able to get the hell off of these platforms. Where Brighteon, if the FBI says, we need back-end access to the system to find out about the encrypted blah, blah, blah. You know what Mike Adams is going to say? Do you have a warrant? We're protecting the constitutional rights. Like, do you have probable cause to go in and look at Deb Jordan's messaging?
Yep.
At all?
And her friends and her family.
Do you have a warrant to do that?
Yeah.
No.
Her followers?
You know how dangerous it is. This isn't like it's not like we're doing something wrong. You're not going to be doing something wrong. We have to be very protective of our constitutional rights. Why? Because law enforcement will violate them if you just give them free rein. We have to have checks and balances, folks. Otherwise, law enforcement is going to say, well, he said gun in his messaging. We have to be able to disarm him just in case. It's a pre-thought crime, right? And you give them discretion. There should be no discretion.
It's not going to happen overnight. And to be clear, we don't have all the answers for how this is going to work yet.
We don't want you to have the answers because you're a filthy freaking Chi-Com Marxist. We prefer that you not provide any answers.
In all
We're
of our
not
lives,
asking
we have
you for an answer. Okay? The Federal Bureau of Investigation has quietly been searching for private contractors who could gather and feed to law enforcement tremendous amounts of user data straight from social media platforms such as Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Okay? You know how dangerous this is?
Yeah.
Is it not unconstitutional? We're not talking about people doing something wrong. Okay? They're going to reverse engineer indictments. This is what they do when they get that information. Otherwise they might as well have you read your Miranda rights before you go log into Facebook.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of law.
That's right.
Let me give you an example. You ready?
Yep.
There was a fake troll account set up on Facebook that posted a quote from our founding fathers. And they posted it without identifying who the person was on the screen in front of a jury and attributed it to hate speech and violence and threats towards the government. And it was a quote from our founding fathers. First of all, the person wasn't identified. Second of all, there were 1,000 FBI trolls that were in there sprinkling those messages everywhere under fake accounts. Okay?
Right.
Fake accounts.
Yep.
They didn't even bother to go in and find out who these people were. And they used the messaging to try to put people away for life in court, to paint a picture in order to get that accomplished.
Right.
To get a jury to say, really? Did that guy really say that from time to time? The tree of patriotism, right?
Yep.
Did he really say that? I'm not even going to repeat some of the quotes. Founding father quotes.
Oh, yeah. From the founding fathers. Absolutely.
We have, in the remaining moments
violent.
here, I'm going to do rapid fire on these news stories. Please allow me to do it. Okay? Conservative leaders have now stepped up to publish a letter to Google. This is all on, by the way, it's all on e-militia.com. We have a news feed right now that is really unmatched.
Yeah, it's humming.
Not only humming, there is no other outlet that I know of that has the amount of information that's coming through here. And if you go on your mobile, our most recent articles are being posted. We're pulling from InfoWars, we're pulling from Gateway Pundit, we're pulling from Breitbart, and we're aggregating all of the important news of the day related to the counter coup, related to the news that you rely upon from. Actually, I'm going to tell you that just about all the news sources we're pulling from right now, feeding through our news feed by our news team.
Yeah.
Is by our news team and through our aggregation service, has red check marks by the establishment.
Pretty amazing.
Okay. They don't, all those red check marks you see on the internet, don't go here, don't click on this is not safe data, but those are all the ones we're providing.
You aren't kidding.
Okay. Right. All red check mark. Alyssa Milano says life would lack great joys without my 2 abortions, she says. Right? This is the kind of stuff that you're getting, all this stupid, idiotic stuff. Epstein's former cellmate begs judge for transfer to another jail. Well, I wonder why.
Right?
I don't know. We don't know why. But let's go back to this article right here on Gateway Pundit. Conservative leaders have now published a letter to Google demanding explanation about conservative censorship. Conservative leaders, including Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe, Media Research Center President Brent Bozell, LifeSiteNews.com, Editor-in-Chief John Henry Weston, and many others have released a letter that they sent to Google CEO Sundar. What's his name?
Poon Chai.
Poon Tang.
Oh, yeah. Poon Tang.
Sundar Punchai. We do not. Oh, wait. Let's shut this off. Oh, my God. They're going to shut our channel down.
Yeah, you'll get in trouble for that.
Sundar Punchai. And members of Congress demanding an explanation about conservative censorship by the big tech giant. That is not what it's sorry. We do not censor people. We do not do that. But they're working with China on the friggin' Manhattan Project called DeepMind. Okay?
DeepMind is freaking scary.
Okay?
Oh my gosh.
And they write
sick.
They write as follows as of this August 20th, this letter in full. We are writing today to ask that you provide a detailed response to the August 14th document released by Project Veritas, which appears to show that Google blocked conservative websites on one of your news platforms. When questioned before Congress in December of last year about whether your company manipulated its search results, you unequivocally denied it. It was a lie. In March, a study by Robert Epstein identified pro-liberal bias in Google search results that helped flip 3 Orange County congressional districts in the 2018 midterm elections. Ladies and gentlemen, we were also deleted from the internet right before the midterm elections.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went off and made documentary films about 3 or 4 other people. But I don't even know how Liberty One TV was able to just get like kicked to the curb. I have no idea how did that happen? Because it was Will Johnson, me. Mm-hmm. We were with Will Johnson on Liberty One TV.
Yeah.
It was me and Will Johnson actually producing all the top clicks over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jermaine Bozzio as well. Jermaine Bozzio, he was doing a great job as well.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of people. We literally got disconnected from 22 million people right before the midterm elections. We were telling everyone to vote anti-communist.
Yeah,
and we got deleted.
Up and coming stars on that channel.
Huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
In April, the Daily Caller reported that Google's trust and safety team manually manipulated various search results to exclude a number of conservative websites, including the American Spectator, the Gateway Pundit, the Conservative Tribune. In June, video leaked of a Google manager claiming the company was training its algorithms to prevent the 2016 election outcome from happening again. Now, we have learned that Google app was blocking conservative websites, including the Daily Caller, Newsbusters, Rush Limbaugh, and many more. And the August 14th document, I figured out why we didn't end up on that list. You know why?
Why is that?
Because we were deleted.
Yes.
No need to suppress their information. They only have 5 listeners over there on their 15th channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
The August 14th document leak also explained how the Twiddler system lets Google and YouTube workers rank search results based on what your companies want emphasized or de-emphasized. Manipulated topics included pro-life advocacy, along with several political and conservative organizations like the Heritage Foundation. Senator Ted Cruz attempted to get to the bottom of at least some of the instances during the July Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, but the Google representative dodged most of the questioning. I wonder why. It seems that in these and other cases that have come to light in recent years, Google's strategy seems to be to say as little as possible and hope that everyone moves on from the story. I say absolutely not. Is your friend seeking love and affection over there?
Yeah, either that or there's a storm coming. And
There's a storm coming?
Something.
It's rolling in. Something's going on.
He is just like at my feet and will not leave.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
In addition to providing an explanation for the past incidents that have already been brought to light, we demand to know what policies, programs, algorithms, or any other business practices are or have been in place to censor conservative content, and we call on you to disclose them and eliminate them immediately. If there are none currently in place, then we want your public commitment. There will be none in the future. Further, we want to know what steps Google is taking to ensure it will not happen again. Please provide your prompt response. We will publish your response or call attention to your lack thereof. F you very much, all of these people. Right?
Right?
Right? I mean, sincerely, all of these people. Here they are. Look at all these people here. Huge, huge news. Huge news. Last article here. Thank you very much. I'm actually going. These are taking priority over some of the ones. Oh, Democrat Ilhan Omar. Israel is not an ally and not a democracy. Must give Palestinians freedom of movement into Israel. Oh, did they link? Oh, come on, play the video.
She's not going to stop.
Stand by.
You know that
Hold
right
on.
now that she's in office and she has power.
Hold on a second. Why is this video not connected on this thing? Disgrace. Anti-Semitic lies on Twitter. Hold on. I got to play this because Snopes needs to get a hold of this. Here it is. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to, if you were Snopes, what would you be listening to? They're too busy over there picking on conservatives. They're not going to catch this one. All right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys listen closely. Let's see if you guys can pick up on it, you little Snopers. Huh?
To the conflict. Fortunately, we in the United States have a constructive role to play. We give Israel more than $3 million in aid every year. This is predicated on their being an important ally in the region and the only democracy in the Middle East. But denying visit to duly elected members of Congress is not consistent with being an ally, and denying millions of people freedom of movement or expression or self-determination is not consistent with being a democracy. We must be asking, as Israel's ally, the Netanyahu government stop the expansion of settlements on Palestinian land and ensure full rights for Palestinians if we are to give them aid. These are not just my views. These are...
Okay, now what did she get wrong in that? Did you pick up on it? Come on, Snopesters. Okay, I'm going to play it again. You ready?
Conflict.
Just a part of it.
Fortunately, we in the United States have a constructive role to play. We give Israel more than $3 million in aid.
How much do we give Israel? It's definitely more than $3 million.
Did she say $3 million?
Yeah, she said we give them $3 million.
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't know because they're giving away so much free stuff. It doesn't matter, $3 billion, $3 million. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
That's how they manage their checkbooks, right? And I couldn't help it. As she was speaking, I could hear this music playing in the background. You ready? You want to hear it?
Yes.
aid every year. This is predicated on their being an important ally in the region and
You're
the
gonna get
only
so much
democracy
You're
in
gonna get
the Middle East. But denying visit to duly elected members of Congress is not consistent with being an ally, and denying millions of people freedom of movement or expression or self-determination is not consistent with being a democracy. We must be asking, as Israel's ally, the Netanyahu government stop the expansion of settlements on Palestinian land and ensure full rights for Palestinians if we are to give them aid.
What were you listening to? Were you listening to her, or are you listening to the Arab battle shout? Huh?
Well, I got to tell you,
what were you more annoyed by, her or that Arab battle shout?
Well, she's very annoying, but we typically give Israel $3.1 billion for military aid, and also we
$3.1 billion,
and also benefits from about $8 billion in loan guarantees a year.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So.
Are we going to stop them?
Is she losing her mind? Is she going crazy? That's what they'd say about President Trump.
Hmm?
That he misspoke.
It's going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it is.
They will get away with whatever you let them get away with.
Unbelievable, this
Actually,
chick.
you know what she should try tomorrow?
She's not going to stop.
You know what she should try tomorrow, since she's an elected official of Americans? She should actually try representing Americans.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Why the Palestinians?
She's not going to stop, Pete. She's going to keep pushing this, and she's going to be saying it so much, and she just keeps repeating it over and over and over again until it just becomes part of the language, and everybody else picks up the mantra. They have no other choice but to do that, and that's what she's doing here. Right now people are pushing back, but she knows that if she does it, and she does it with this sweet little face that she's got, and she does it with her sweet voice, that people will start, they will start accepting it. And then, of course, we'll have some, maybe a false flag or two that, shootings of another mosque or something like that in America. And she'll be in like Flint. That's how it works in politics these days, unfortunately.
That's right. Communism's bad.
It is.
Hey, communism's bad. I mean, Stalin killed conservatively 30 million people.
Stop it.
I'm just having fun as we go out here.
Mm-hmm.
As we exit, let me cover one more news story as we go. That's Ms. Aloha Snack Bar. There you go. Sanctuary in the Big Apple. Every ICE detainer request has been ignored by NYPD. That's Bill de Blasio, who said, "Don't worry about it. We have police. I hired 2,000 more." And what are they doing? They're at the freaking donut shop. Okay? Well, you can call upon our police. But what are they doing? They're ignoring ICE to take criminals out of the city of New York. There you go. Oh, my goodness. What a great show. It was a great show.
I
You
love
guys,
this show.
thank you, David Hernandez. Thank you, James Bond, Billy Bastard, Carolyn from Utah. Thank you guys to all of you for making this happen. We the people making it happen. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 9
we will.
9 a.m.
Yep.
9 a.m.
All right. Good show, Pete.
Great show.
Yeah. Had a good time.
Bye, everybody.
Many people have been raving about the benefits of nootropics, and my regular listeners know that I'm a big fan of cognitive enhancement supplements. Recently, I tried Gorilla Mind Rush, and I'm here to tell you that it's the best daily supplement I'm taking right now to help keep me focused and at the highest level of concentration I need to keep up with the flow of news and information we deliver to you daily. Gorilla Mind products not only supplement my regular daily nutrition. When you buy Gorilla Mind Rush, Gorilla Mind Smooth, Gorilla Dream, or Gorilla Youth Serum anti-aging products, you help support our operation. We're an authorized affiliate, and when you buy Gorilla Mind products by visiting PeteLive.tv/gorilla, you're literally making an investment in our show. Invest in your well-being. Invest in our show. It's a winning partnership between our listeners of the Pete Santilli Show, the best cognitive, health, and anti-aging products on the market today. Just visit PeteLive.tv/gorilla to learn more. That's PeteLive.tv/gorilla.
From sweet and spicy to fiery, bold, and full of flavor, Brother Doc's is not your typical beef jerky. Never dry and brittle. This jerky comes beautifully packaged, with large cuts of meat that are moist, tender, and chewy from beginning to end. Brother Doc's recipes contain the highest quality ingredients that result in innovative flavor masterpieces, like orange teriyaki, barbecue mesquite, and their signature bold pepper flavors properly named Volcano and Burnout. Moderate pricing and great flavor will have you in beef jerky heaven. Go to sbn.buzz/brotherdocs to place your order so Doc knows you heard about him here on the Pete Santilli Show. It's true what they say about Brother Doc's beef jerky. One bite and you'll be a believer too.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you install computer antivirus software, or you put a smoke detector in your home, or you sign a marriage prenuptial agreement? You're preparing. You're preparing for the worst, actually. You're preparing to be attacked and hacked, or for a fire in your home, or for a marriage breaking up. Whatever it is, you're preparing for the worst. That all actually makes sense. Same goes for building a food storage plant. You're preparing for when natural disasters strike and shelves go empty at the grocery store. Or you can't get there because you're cut off from everything, like what's happening in some places in the Midwest, where flooding has made islands out of farms and subdivisions. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. I trust and use them, and you should too. A 2-week food storage kit gets you started. They're available now for a special price of only $75 when you go to my special website, preparewithpete.com. These kits from My Patriot Supply including breakfast, lunch, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. Order now so you're prepared. Preparewithpete.com. That's preparewithpete.com. Many people have been raving.
You know who's coming on, Karen, tomorrow, right? Patrick, you there? Patrick and Karen and John. If you guys are listening to me, everyone's listening to me right now. Tomorrow, Dr. Cyril Wecht, the world's leading forensic pathologist, having completed over 20,000 autopsies. I'm not going to give bragging rights because it was many years ago, but I trained him on forensic laser identification way back in the day. Yeah. Dr. Cyril Wecht, forensic pathologist. He's going to come on and say that the whole Epstein thing is a joke. We're going to play cartoons for the whole segment. Okay? Which the cartoons are much more realistic than what we're being told about Epstein. Yeah. There's a higher probability that if you're Bugs Bunny and that your plane is crashing, all you need to do is just step out of the plane right before it crashes and you'll be okay. That is, yeah. Huh? Cyril Wecht?